It has been a June swoon for the Royals offense, struggling to drive runners in from scoring position. And those struggles carried into last night until the Royals really needed it. And Billy Butler's base hit in the 8th inning put the Royals in front for a 2-1 win over Milwaukee. Will that carry over into tonight? Royals baseball is next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Royals baseball comes to you from sunny and windy Kauffman Stadium for interleague play. And game 2 tonight between the Royals and the Brewers after the Royals' exciting win last night. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and the ballpark is still buzzing after the Royals beat and outpitched Zach Greinke and the Brewers. Tonight, Jonathan Sanchez is back from the disabled list to make a start in game 2.
Ryan, he's looking to do exactly what Luis Mendoza did last night. Pick up his team, throw a quality start out at the Milwaukee Brewers, a team that really is down. In order for him to do that, he needs to get ahead of hitters. He did a nice job in his best game of the year against the Detroit Tigers, getting ahead of hitters and then using his great stuff to finish off those hitters. He has great stuff, but it's not as good if he's pitching from behind.
There are some impressive bats in both lineups, but last night we only saw 3 runs. That could change tonight, and we'll have more from the ballpark right after this.
When you play, students win. And by Chevrolet. Your Kansas City Chevy dealers are the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. Joel Goldberg will get you ready for the Royals Charities broadcast auction when we come back.
At Rivals, where we are excited for the 3rd annual Royals Charities Broadcast Auction. All kinds of great items to bid on. Raised $85,000 for charities last year. Hitting lessons, pitching lessons, fielding lessons with Alex Gordon. His wife Jamie will be up here to visit with us. George Brett will be in the booth. And as we take a look at some of the items already being bid on, you can call 816-504-4040. And already $1,000 in to hang out with George Brett in a suite. That number will fly all night long. We've got that throughout the night. But first up, Jonathan Sanchez throws the first pitch. Ryan and Monty are back with the call next.
Phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. So Jonathan Sanchez is back. He'll be facing this Milwaukee Brewers lineup. The Brewers are 3rd in the National League in home runs. They were without a home run last night. In fact, the Royals pitching of Mendoza, Crow, Holland, and Broxton held the Brewers to just 1 run on 5 hits. So it'll be Nori Aoki leading off tonight. It was Corey Hart last night against Luis Mendoza. And now Jonathan Sanchez back from the disabled list. And here's a little snapshot of what he's done against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Well, Ryan, the 29-year-old lefty has great stuff, but often struggles with his command. So tonight will be important for him to keep his pitch count down, especially early. He's got a low 90s fastball, but he needs a command that get ahead of hitters, put him away with his great stuff.
Sanchez hasn't made a start for the Royals in over a month. It was May 7th against the Boston Red Sox right here at Kauffman Stadium. Gave up 6 runs in 3 innings, and then shortly after that we found out he had been bothered by left biceps tendonitis, and that same ailment put him on the disabled list last year with the San Francisco Giants. (2-0) on Aoki.
He's got a very light fastball. It's going to be in the low 90s. Features a splitter that he throws as a changeup and a curveball and a slider. So he's got a variety of pitches he can throw out there.
Across the knees, 2 balls, 1 strike. Sanchez has not won for the Royals since his first start. That was April 8th at the Angels. So we're talking 2 months, and now he comes back to even the count at 2-2. and missed badly. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I think back to a game in early May when Sanchez pitched against Justin Verlander and no one gave the Royals a chance to win. He went out and threw probably his best game to date as a Royal.
And he had Aoki off balance, who hooks it over to Betancourt at second base. And there is 1 out. Now the rest of the Royals defensive lineup presented by Ford.
Well, Alex Gordon coming off a great game last night. He did it with the glove. He did it with the bat. Eric Hosmer looking to get things going tonight against Randy Wolf. Sanchez on the mound and Quintero back behind the plate.
Alex Gordon with that great throw in the 7th inning last night, gunning down Ryan Braun at the plate after a fly ball from Taylor Green. A strike now on Carlos Gomez, and we were telling you last night about the Milwaukee Brewers platoon of Gomez and Niger Morgan in center field. And Gomez, who's done hardly anything in his career against right-hand pitching, has been good against lefties and hitting .298 against left-hand pitchers this year. Oh, 0-2.
Jonathan Sanchez has faced Carlos Gomez 5 times in his career. He has 1 hit, and that was a home run.
Still no balls, 2 strikes. We saw quite a bit of Carlos Gomez when he was with the Minnesota Twins, and he was a centerpiece in a trade that sent Johan Santana to the New York Mets. Carlos Gomez, one of the young players going to Minnesota, never got it going with the Twins the way they had hoped, and eventually was knocked out of center field by Denard Span. One of those guys, Monty, that has all the physical tools you'd ever want to see, but at least with the Twins, never really seemed like he had a good feel for the game and a good feel for what his role was, and a lot of big swings like that resulted in strikeouts. So Sanchez throws him 6 straight strikes, and down he goes. 84 degrees with the wind blowing in from right field. Started at 7:10 tonight, and the time and temp is brought to you by the parking spot at KCI.
We have had some beautiful weather here at Kauffman Stadium.
Strike on Ryan Braun, who got the Brewers' first hit, leading off the 7th inning, an infield single. He has a 7-game hitting streak. He also has a 17-game interleague hitting streak. And he's down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. So Sanchez a little shaky with Aoki to begin the game. He missed badly with a couple of pitches, but now he's thrown 9 consecutive strikes.
He has picked it up, and I like the pace in which he's pitching. He's getting the ball and ready, delivering the pitch. That's a good sign that he has confidence on the mound.
Little bit outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sanchez's numbers are not good in his 6 starts with the Royals, but because he went on the disabled list, you wonder how long that left biceps tendonitis was bothering him.
A lot of times once you get that, it becomes an issue throughout the rest of your career.
Braun takes a bad swing. Quintero rolls it to first base to get Ryan Braun. And Ryan Braun looking around wondering how in the world Quintero got him. the 4 tickets that Eric was talking about in the crown seats, the Bats crown seats, and 1 premium parking pass. You'll also get an autographed bat from Eric Hosmer, with the game to be mutually agreed upon. And the experience, of course, is weather permitting. So one of many great packages during our Royals broadcast auction tonight, benefiting Royals charities. Here's the Royals lineup tonight against left-hander Randy Wolf. Alex Gordon started the game last night with a home run, the 6th time in his career he's hit a leadoff home run. And Randy Wolf, this is his 355th Major League start and his first against the Kansas City Royals.
Well, Ryan, that's something that is very difficult to do, to pitch for 14 seasons in the major leagues with interleague play and not face the Kansas City Royals. We got Carlos Gomez making his 20th start out in center field, a little different left side of the infield with Edwin Masonette at shortstop tonight, and Cody Ransom moving over to third.
Randy Wolf is 35 years old. He's been a professional since 1997 when he was drafted in the 2nd round by the Phillies. Heading back to the broadcast auction, the ticker there at the bottom of your screen will be updating you on the various packages that are available. We'll have guests in the booth all night giving more specifics. We'll also be going out to rivals quite a bit and checking in with Joel. Well, Alex is on a roll during this homestand in the 1st inning. A home run last night and a double tonight. That is his 19th double of the year.
And the Royals have been hitting their share of doubles. Alex Gordon wastes no time tonight, getting it started here in the bottom of the 1st inning.
So 19 doubles, and that puts him in the top 5 in the American League in that category. And now it's Yuniesky Betancourt, who played for the Brewers last year. He was their starting shortstop. And with Chris Getz back, Ned Yost is going to go with Betancourt tonight. It has not been a great year for Randy Wolf. His ERA is about 5.5, but one thing that he can hang his hat on is what he's done against left-hand hitters, batting just .204. But now Alex Gordon, a left-hand hitter, opens the 1st inning with a double.
Well, Randy Wolf doesn't have quite the stuff that Jonathan Sanchez has, but he's a crafty lefty. He has the ability to locate his fastball very well. He's been very successful over the years with that command. He'll throw the fastball probably 80 to 85% of the time.
And there's a big curve that's high and away, 2 balls and 1 strike.
He does complement the fastball with a curveball, a slider, and a changeup. So he has a variety that he throws at the hitters. Two and two.
We were talking about Jonathan Sanchez and how long it's been for him since he's won with the Royals. Randy Wolf has not won since April 30th. That was 8 starts ago against the San Diego Padres. He is 0-3 in his last 7 starts. His ERA isn't all that bad, 4.57, but without a win in the entire month of May and now into the middle of June. Inside, and now 3 balls, 2 strikes. We just saw Randy Wolf's older brother Jim Wolf, a Major League umpire, and he was in Pittsburgh for the Royals Pirates series. He is not allowed to work the plate when his brother is on the mound. There's a productive out as Betancourt grounds out to Ricky Weeks and gets Alex Gordon to third base with 1 out. Don't forget to bring the entire family to Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest. That's July 6th through July 10th at Bartle Hall. Major League Baseball All-Star Fan Fest is an interactive baseball theme park and the largest fan event in the world. You'll get free autographs from Major League Baseball legends, members of the Hall of Fame, and much more. And to guarantee your preferred date and time slot, you can buy your tickets now at allstargame.com. Billy Butler had gone 9 games without an RBI. He had been 0 for his last 17 with runners in scoring position. And then he delivered the go-ahead RBI for the Royals in the bottom of the 8th last night.
Really a nice at-bat for Billy. All he has to do is hit a fly ball, but stays back and gets a nice pitch to deliver a single, little left center. Nice piece of hitting for him.
And a curveball to short. Masonette throws him out. Gordon comes down from third, and the Royals get the leadoff double. A ground ball gets Alex to third. Another ground ball gets him home. And Billy drives in his 37th of the year. So now he's gone back-to-back games with an RBI.
That was a very well scripted piece of hitting. Alex Gordon getting things going, Uni getting him over, then Billy getting him in. Haven't seen a lot of that lately. Great to see.
Now Hosmer takes one up and in, 1 ball, no strikes. You know, you're right, and you and I have had conversations on the air and off the air that it's easy to get caught up in, well, the Royals need a big hit. They could use a 3-run home run or a 2-run double or whatever, but there have been plenty of opportunities over the past couple of weeks, like we just saw, scoring 1 run, and you don't even need a base hit. Ground ball to short gets him home.
Well, you described it well when Unieski hit the ground ball to second base. It was a productive out.
Now Hosmer goes the other way. Well, he has a 2-out single. So the left-hand hitters who are supposed to struggle against Randy Wolf, Gordon and Hosmer, have the hits in this inning.
When Eric Hosmer's using the left side of the field to his advantage, it seems like that's when his game clicks, and we saw that in his last at-bat here.
Jeff Francoeur had 2 hits last night against Zach Greinke in his first at-bat. He went the other way and singled to right, and then in the 8th inning against Francisco Rodriguez, he singled to center. Down to the count 0-2 against Randy Wolf. Royals snapped a 4-game losing streak last night. They had also lost 5 of their previous 6, which was quite a letdown because before that the Royals were starting to get on a roll. They had won 6 of 8 and were just 6 games below 500.
Jeff Francoeur, with his National League experience, has faced Randy Wolf 14 times. He's 4 for 14, walked 3 times with 1 strikeout.
Inside, 2-2. Well, the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2 on Francoeur, and if he reaches, Mike Moustakas will come up.
3-2 counter with 2 outs. Eric Hosmer will be running, but Wolf has a very good move to first. The Royals' running game will be challenged tonight.
That was not his best move. Sometimes a pitcher will show the runner at first less than his best move to try and convince him that that is the best that he has.
Bait them up, let them fall in that trap.
Masonette fields at short. That's the inning. The Royals get a run. Alex Gordon doubles. Betancourt gets him to third. Butler gets him home. in tonight's game is valued at $14,000. And after 6 days of home run challenge games, 78 home runs have been hit, raising $1,092,000 for prostate cancer research. 1 ball, 1 strike on Aramis Ramirez, who is the designated hitter for Milwaukee tonight. He was at third base last night. Jonathan Sanchez got the Brewers in order in the first with the strikeout. Ramirez was 1 for 3 last night with a walk, and that base hit came in the 9th inning against Jonathan Broxton. And then Carlos Gomez ran for Ramirez, got all the way to third base. Third base with 1 out. First and third, 1 out in a 1-run game, but Broxton struck out pinch hitter George Gutierrez and then got Brooks Conrad to ground out to end the game. Well, I have to say it because the original author of the line is here in the ballpark. That was just a bit outside.
Sounds like Bob Uecker to me.
There he is. Bob Uecker, the longtime radio voice of the Milwaukee Brewers and the voice of the Major League movies. Popped up. Dyson and Francoeur in right center field. It's Francoeur, and there is 1 down. Tonight is the Royals broadcast auction benefiting Royals charities. We'll be going out to Rivals quite a bit tonight, and let's check in with Joel.
Well, we got 3 special guests, too. Oftentimes you see them kind of running against each other. The 3 hot dogs here, ketchup, mustard, and relish, not necessarily in that order. They kind of look like K-Crew girls, too, but we won't give that away. One of the packages, already up to $1,500, is the chance to come on out and race in the hot dog race and throw out the first pitch. You and 1 friend get a chance to come out and race in the race, and then they'll throw someone else in, a Royals employee or something, to be that 3rd one. And so you get a chance to be in these suits. You get 4 Crown Club seats, premium parking, and a lot more, autographed baseball after you throw out that first pitch. And Ryan, I got to tell you, they've been sitting out here for, I don't know, about a half hour. It's kind of hot out here. And you know what happens when a hot dog gets thirsty, you gotta get a sip of water, right? So,
I guess so.
Just saw 3 hot dogs having a sip of water.
I would think all that waving would wear you down too, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, they're good on TV.
Okay.
You know, they're antsy. They're trying to get ready for that race later. So anyway, a good package, and then one that the kids like a lot, obviously, and the chance to get on the mound and throw out that first pitch. Premium seats, premium parking, and I mean, we've seen it before. I think we saw it from Sam Mellinger a number of years back. A chance to race against your buddies in the suits here.
All right, thanks, Joel. That's drilled to center field and over Gerard Dyson's head. Corey Hart will check into second base with 1 out, and the Brewers' first hit.
Corey Hart hitting at the top of the order last night, moving down to the 5th slot tonight. Gets a pitch up in the strike zone. Stays in the ballpark. Gerard Dyson able to track it down, but not until Corey Hart has a double for the Brewers.
And that brings us to Ricky Weeks, who started last night with a .158 batting average. Ended up with 2 hits. Drove in the Brewers' run with 2 outs in the 7th inning. And he added 8 points to his batting average. Mentioned this last night. I remember when the Royals were in Milwaukee in 2007. Ned Yost was the manager of the Brewers, and it seemed like every hitter in their lineup, Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, Ryan Braun, remember Bill Hall, J.J. Hardy, they could all hit. They could all hit for power. They could all run.
And Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder. There's Ned. He was manager of the Brewers from 2003 to 2008. And in his first year, Milwaukee won 68 games. And then they won 83 in his last 2 years. 3 balls, 1 strike.
We've heard him talk a lot about the similarities that he sees here with this young group of Royals players and the process. And everyone gets to the finish line at different times, but he was able to take the Brewers nearly to the finish line in their process.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Ned Yost, part of that very controversial dismissal with 2 weeks to go in the 2008 regular season, was replaced by one of his coaches, Dale Swaim, and Brewers ended up making it to the playoffs and lost in the first round. Sanchez strikes out his second. He gets Ricky Weeks looking, and Ricky Weeks strikes out for the 73rd time this year.
Ricky Weeks has a great eye, has a lot of walks. Here, this one just on the black. Maybe thinking Jonathan Sanchez got away with one there. Home plate umpire Del Scott says otherwise. That's strike 3.
So now Corey Hart is at second base with 2 outs. And it brings up Cody Ransom. Monty told you he was the shortstop last night, playing at third base tonight, and he pops it up. It's Hosmer calling for it, now called off by Moustakas. And Jonathan Sanchez works around the 1-out double. Braden's hope for childhood cancer started after her son Braden was diagnosed with a relapse of childhood cancer. The organization raises funds specifically for childhood cancer, which is the #1 killer by disease among children. And so Delise enjoying the game tonight from the Buck O'Neil legacy seat, as Mike Moustakas hits a one-hopper to Ricky Weeks. And the bottom of the second begins with a ground out to second base. Royals scored in the first. Alex Gordon coming down from third on a ground out from Billy Butler. Let's go back out to rivals, and here's Joel.
Ryan, thanks. We're joined by Royals Vice President Toby Cook, who does so much with this out in the community. $85,000 raised last year. All right, tell us about this event, the Let's Play Ball Package.
Joel, we have a lot of people who say, can you let us go watch BP on the field? Yes, but this package includes getting to play BP on the field. You get to take batting practice. So 6 people will get a ticket to the game. They'll get a BP jersey, and they'll get to take batting practice with either a current Royals player or an alumni, or we'll find somebody who will do it, and it'll be a lot of fun for us.
And that's fun right there, too, for Alcides Escobar against his former team, beating out the hit. So that is good news, and certainly Escobar and all these guys are out taking batting practice every day. And I know people, yes, they want to watch batting practice. They also want to kind of get up there and swing for the fences, so that this is that opportunity.
We're going to throw in a parking pass for you. And when you get to go on BP and then watch the game later that night on Crown Vision, the largest high-definition video board in baseball we'll put your family up there and we'll list all of the people who are participants. So this Let's Play Ball we think is going to be very, very popular, and you will hit against a guy that's not throwing as fast as he would in a regular game, we promise.
So we can't get Jeff Montgomery out there because he might blow him away.
No doubt. He's saying that inside part of the plate is mine, buddy, so move back. We'll get somebody who will throw it a little bit softer.
Yeah, well, Monty takes care of the people. I know that he's done some of those alumni batting practice, so that'll be a lot of fun. And right now, guys, we're at $750 on that. Hey, guess what's leading so far?
The George Brett Suite.
I can't believe you would guess that. Yeah, he's at $2,500, and he'll come and make his big pitch soon, and I'm sure that'll skyrocket it up. We'll see how the broadcast experience does later on. But this is a pretty cool event, too, that Toby was just talking about. Chance to get out there and swing for the fences here at the K.
And, Joel, I am very good at hitting bats these days, so if anybody would like to hit off me, I would love to do it.
So better than, because I don't know that anybody would have wanted to face you during your closing days. Because people ask you all the time, Monty, they say, come on, can't you get out there still?
I'd like to point something out, by the way, Joel, that during our production meetings on Broadcast Auction 2012, the Fox Sports Kansas City people were talking smack, so they think they're going to win this thing.
All right, well, we might. We're going to give it our best shot. Ryan, back to you.
Well, the way it always works out, we have a guest and we have a 4-pitch inning. So thanks to Joel and Toby. We'll have more with Joel later on. 1-0 Royals. Missouri are teaming up to help you stop smoking now. The state of Missouri Tobacco Quit line is at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. And here we are back at the ballpark. It's the Royals broadcast auction. George Brett is here. Good to see you, George.
Back.
And every year, your package that includes 20 people sitting in a suite watching the game with you for a few innings is a huge attraction. You're already at the top of the leaderboard, and you haven't even said a word on the air yet.
Last year it was a card dealer from, I think it was Independence. He brought a bunch of his employees up, and it says I'll stop by for 2 or 3 innings and visit and sign some autographs and stuff. And this year I guess they have some bats, commemorative bats for the All-Star game and some jerseys. But for some reason last year, Monty, I think I stayed for 5 or 6 innings. We were having such a good time.
Well, I know you, George. You create fun, and it's always good.
Baseball it's a fun place to be. Where would you rather be than at the ballpark?
Absolutely.
Especially up in a suite at the ballpark with great food and cold adult beverages on occasion.
Got to like that. Sign me up.
Right now we are at 20.
Don't work that night. Don't work that night.
We're at $2,500 right now. Again, it's 20 tickets. It's 10 parking passes, so you don't all have to cram into one car. You can all drive separately pretty much if you want to, at least groups of 2. There will be food and beverages included in the suite. Monty is holding the bat that we were talking about.
I got to tell you about the bat. It's engraved, signed by George, 2012 All-Star Ambassador. It also has some numbers here. 13-time AL All-Star, 1999 Baseball Hall of Fame, 3 decades, 3 batting titles, 1980 AL MVP.
I don't know why they'd make them black. You can't put pine tar on them. Why would they do that?
Well, maybe you could do it and you wouldn't get caught.
Yeah, in fact, last year I think the game was against we did this was against the Yankees. And so they had some Yankee fans in there. They had some Royal fans in there, and it was a lot of fun. I don't know who we're playing this week. Do you know who we're playing that night?
I have not seen it.
Do you know who the game's against?
June 26th, which I think is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays.
Oh, they're a good team.
That's right. It'll be game 2 of 3 with the Tampa Bay Rays.
It'll be a fun game. Who's pitching that series?
It's going to be that guy for the Rays.
That guy,
and
that other guy for the Royals.
Yeah, it should be a good pitching matchup.
We'll
We're
have
really
a good
looking forward to it.
We know it'll be a good young Rays starting pitcher. That's one thing about the rotation. They have a great rotation.
George, you brought up the pine tar on that bat, and Monty was just going through some of your many accomplishments. But I would imagine that people want to talk to you about the pine tar as much as they do about the All-Stars and the World Series and the 3,000 hits, Hall of Fame induction.
You know what? I played 20 years here in this beautiful ballpark, and the one thing that I'm known for is the pine tar game, which is fine. You know, it could be worse. I've seen a good friend of mine, good friend of yours, Billy Buckner, a great player, over 2,800 hits. Almost 2,900 hits. He's remembered for one thing.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's something that was bad. That happened. That was bad to him. You know.
1986 World Series.
Yeah. But Billy was a great player, and did a lot for the game of baseball. Unfortunately, he made one boo-boo, and the whole world saw it. So to be remembered as something like hitting a home run to win a ball game, even though it was July, it could be a lot worse.
That was a lot of fun when we were in New York, because for years the cameraman in the booth at Old Yankee Stadium and New Yankee Stadium, Mike Masseri, was in the position which is now known as high or mid first. He had that angle, and I'd been going there for years, and we were talking about the pine tar game, and he says, yeah, I was the cameraman, very, very humbly, modestly. I said, wow, have you ever met George? No, I've never met George. I always want to meet George. And last time we were in New York, you got a chance to meet the guy that had that famous shot of you storming out of the dugout. And the Brewers haven't gotten a ball out of the infield grass, and they have the bases loaded with 1 out. So that was very, very kind of you.
He was a nice guy,
to meet him.
So did he get promoted to come in here or demoted?
Oh, no, this is a huge promotion to come up here in the booth. This is a big deal. Well, this is one of the fun things about interleague play, George. We hear about Ryan Braun. We don't get a chance to see guys like him in person because we don't see the Brewers very often. And unfortunately for Jonathan Sanchez and the Royals, Ryan Braun comes up with the bases loaded and 1 out.
And probably is this the first time the Brewers have been to this ballpark?
Since the reconfiguration, yes. I believe they were here in 2006.
Well, how about this? Somebody was telling me, Harold Reynolds was telling me he was in town. How about a guy like Chipper Jones, who's never played in Kansas City? And hopefully he will be an all-star. Hopefully he'll be one of those guys for the fans to see one of the greatest players in the last 20 years or 15 years in the National League, finally get a chance to see him play here in our ballpark.
Things will change up next year with interleague play, as there will be an interleague game being played every night because of the shift in the Astros going into the American League. So it'll be a little different with interleague play, and hopefully that will create some opportunities for some of those teams that never make it through the various cities to do so.
I wish they had it when I played. I think it would have been a lot of fun. Never played in Pittsburgh, never played at Wrigley Field, and places like that. It would have been a lot of fun to have that opportunity. Especially now that Pittsburgh, you're raving about that stadium.
Yeah, it's quite a ballpark. Everything about it. I mean, around the ballpark, in the ballpark, everything, Ryan, probably except the press box.
Yeah, it's a tough view, but the trade-off is you get this wonderful view of downtown Pittsburgh. I mean, you feel like you can just reach out and touch the buildings downtown. Oh, I just spilled your water all over the floor.
That's all right. E5.
So how's life these days as an all-star ambassador?
Life's all right.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's going to get pretty hectic as the game gets closer, but it's been fun. did some photo shoots the other day, and talking to a guy today from New York Times, the newspaper, about the Royals, doing a big story about coming, about the All-Star game coming here. And just as the game gets closer, you got a lot of responsibilities that I'll have to do. It's going to be a busy 3 or 4 days, and I understand now there's some deal with Ewing Kauffman being honored on Sunday night, and I have the Futures game that day. I start the race that morning, manage the Futures game, and then participate in the celebrity softball game after that, and I won't be able to make it, which I'm a little upset about, but why anybody would schedule it during the All-Star week anyways. But I really don't want to miss that, but I've committed to these other things. And, Ewing Kauffman was Mr. Kansas City for so many years and still is. I mean, his legacy is living on forever and ever and ever with his donations to the city. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make that one. I'll be too busy with the All-Star game.
I think that's one thing people will be amazed at is the amount of activities going on in conjunction with the All-Star game. And I'm sure you had the opportunity to experience that firsthand as a player. And that was one of the things that was really amazing to me is just exactly how much does go on during that period.
And it's even more so now with the Fan Fest. They didn't have Fan Fest when I played in those things. They didn't have the Home Run Derby. They never had those things. They never had the Futures game. They had the Gala. We would fly into a city, Monty, and we would, on Sunday, go to the team hotel. Monday we'd have practice, and then they'd go to the Gala that night. And then close. And then play. And then you would have luncheon on Tuesday, and then play the game Tuesday night and fly home. But now it's like a 5-6 day event, and the city puts on just a tremendous show. And I'm looking forward to what Kansas City could show. There'll be a lot of people coming in here that have never been to Kansas City before.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people already raving about what they've seen. The people from MLB who have been in working in getting everything ready for the festivities.
So the Brewers tied the game on a close play at second base, and that's an RBI for Aramis Ramirez. So 1-1. We're chatting with George Brett. George is up here mostly because you can bid to enjoy a suite with 19 friends or family, and George will stop by for a few innings and spend part of the game with you. We have gone from $2,500 to $5,000 since you've been
We should
up here.
have the guy go in one of the suites and take a picture of some of the food they put out there, because they can put out a pretty good spread in some of these suites. A really good spread.
I'm sure it will be good when you're there, George.
Well, there you go. On demand. How about that?
That's pretty good.
The stocked refrigerator with cold beverages.
Now, George, with all the All-Star festivities going on and you being the ambassador, do you have the opportunity to work with any of the young players like you've done in the past? Or have you been too busy with all the All-Stars?
At the Futures game, I'm managing the one team and lobbying to have John Wathan as one of my coaches. A great friend, a great teammate, and I played for John. He's a very knowledgeable baseball guy. Last time I managed this game, it was in Detroit 6 years ago, and my starting pitcher that day, I wanted to start somebody from Detroit. Now, I didn't know any of these minor league guys from Detroit, so I said, okay, you look like, who pitches on our team from Detroit? Next thing you know, that guy does, Justin Verlander. I said, you're starting.
That's a good call.
So I'm a pretty good, I can pick out some good talent.
Absolutely.
You can manage.
Hopefully we have a guy in Kansas City organization that can start in this game.
All right. George, thanks for stopping by.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And why not Humberto Quintero, who has just worn out Randy Wolf over the years. Quintero is the Royals' number 9 hitter tonight, but in 17 at-bats in the past against Randy Wolf, he has 6 hits, including a home run. So the Brewers have just tied the game at 1 for Randy Wolf. He'll get Quintero, Alex Gordon, and Yuniesky Betancourt. As we come back up to the broadcast booth, here's Royals Vice President Mike Swanson, our boss, and the one who just kind of sells us every year during the Royals broadcast auction. As Quintero drives it into left field and off the screen. So that's 18 at-bats against Randy Wolf, 7 hits, and Senor Doble does it again. Another double for Humberto Quintero.
Right on cue, huh?
Yeah, looks like he almost had a chance for home run number 2 here. Just comes up a little short off the fence out there. Ryan Braun gets it in, but still Quintero into second with a double.
What's happening, guys?
Good to see you, Swanee.
This is not fair. Bring me in here after George.
Yeah,
I mean, seriously, really?
We're more nervous when you're in here, though, because we know that in your mind you're doing like an evaluation form.
Yeah, I am. He's got batting titles in 3 decades. I got 5 decades of baseball in this body, so it's not fair.
But they were good years.
Yeah, those were the good years.
So what are we selling this year?
We're selling you guys. We're selling you. We're selling Jeff Montgomery. We're selling Rex Hudler if we can get Rex back in town. Steve Physiak, Denny Matthews, Steve Stewart. We'll even let him play with the dials over in Don Free's area on the radio side and let Don go crazy. But we're selling broadcast experience, an opportunity to come down on the bench, spend some time with Ned Yost before the game when he meets with the media. Ask him a question or two and find out his thoughts on Royals baseball. And then a nice view from the crown seats. Great meal. Opportunity to go up in the press box up where yours truly works and watch Royals baseball.
Is there any experience required?
No experience required. How do you think I got this gig? Yeah. No, there's no experience required at all. Just come out and have fun. I mean, and that's the best part about this. It's fantastic for Royals charities, and it's fantastic for the people who win it. I've been doing this a long time, and when we were in Arizona, we had this experience, and coming to Kansas City, we had this experience, and to have the opportunity to show people, as I always say, behind the curtain and have them see how this gets put on, how the production gets put on. We'll even, Joe's probably going to yell in my ear right now, we'll even walk him out to the truck and let him watch Joe and Steve work out there.
Which is probably the most fascinating thing about the tour, and fans that want to come up to the radio booth or the TV booth and watch us call the game. I always encourage them if they get the opportunity, as Alex Gordon is still alive, Ryan Braun a little uncomfortable over near the barrier wall, is that if you really want to have a life-changing experience when seeing how a radio or a television broadcast is put on the air, is to watch it from behind the scenes. You mentioned Don Free, our radio engineer, and all the buttons that he has. There's Richard Harlan, our technical director, in the television truck. I would think that when you take people out of the truck, that their minds have been blown away.
If you've never seen the inside of a mobile unit that puts on a game telecast, you would have the flashbacks to your growing up years of watching NASA and watching the rockets take off and the view from Houston Control, because you go in there and you see nothing but monitors in front of you, all in HD. Ton of buttons. It's like walking into a cockpit, and it's pretty neat, and I think fans will really get a kick out of it.
Ryan, you remember when you were doing television in Minnesota and I was relieving for the Royals, I would always go back to the tunnel early in the game and go exactly and have that view that you're seeing on your screen right now. And it really was amazing to see how many moving parts there were that goes on to put on a broadcast.
That's a little-known fact about Jeff Montgomery. And, Swanee, you've been around long enough that you've heard all the stories about what various closers will do as part of their pregame routine, because, I mean, they really don't have to be ready until the 7th or 8th inning to get their body moving. And some guys, Lee Smith was famous for taking naps during the game, and some guys would take a shower in the middle of the game. But Monty's right. I was the days in Minnesota, there wasn't a very long walk from the bullpen in the Metrodome, the visitors' bullpen, to the control room, which was inside the Metrodome, and one day we popped in there, and there's Monty, full uniform on with his spikes, and he would just sit quietly in the back and just watch how
gauging the plate umpire, were you?
Yeah.
Let's see, what pitch can I use tonight? Let's see here.
Diving stop by Ransom at third, and throws out Betancourt. So Quintero still at second base, and now 2 outs. Well, typically when you're done with this tour, Swanee, and you've been very gracious with your time to guide people around the ballpark, when it's all said and done, what's the part that is most fascinating to them, or most surprisingly fascinating?
Honestly, it's the opportunity, and I say this with you guys and standing next to me, but it's the opportunity to meet you guys and get to know you without the microphones on. I mean, I hear that so often about how such normal people you guys are because they really don't know you guys. No, I'm kidding. How great you guys really are. They'll get to know you. But I hear that all the time, after an experience or even during the experience. And the Ned Yost part, being down on the bench and seeing these guys, because the players are all walking by for stretch and going out for BP. And to be down there, and again, I use it every year, behind the curtain. And we let Ned know that these were the winners of the broadcast auction for Royals Charities. And Ned is very gracious with his time. And he'll take some time after the media scrum and say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And he's very good with his time with them.
It could be interesting for the winner to watch Nate Ducati ask his daily questions to Ned Yost. That would be very entertaining in itself.
It's very entertaining every day. I have a blast with it every day. I wonder when Nate is going to ask that question, where Ned's going to jump over the table in the postgame. So
you're not the only one. We all kind of tune in for that.
I know they have
what's going to happen tonight.
I know they have a field day with it on his morning show the next day too. And people, I'll tell you, I saw the tweets, I see the emails and stuff. They actually really do get along. It's a lot of fun to watch the interaction between the two. But Ned doesn't go out of his way that often to say, I really do like that person. He does say that about Nate. So Nate down there in the truck, he really does like you, trust me.
Don't tell him that. I mean, we want him to, to sweat it out every time he goes in there and has to ask those questions.
See if he gets the count right. Let's just keep an eye on the Fox box right now.
Hey, while we have a minute before the inning ends, that was as exciting and energetic that we've seen Kauffman Stadium in a long time last night, wasn't it?
Wasn't that a lot of fun? That was playoff atmosphere, and the high wire act in the ninth inning was a blast to be a part of when you win the ball game, and it was just to see. Any time the players show emotion, and when you play 162 of these, not all the time do you see emotion. But to see Jonathan Broxton celebrate that last out last night, I mean, it gives you chills. It gave me chills right there just talking about it, because it really gets you fired up for the next day's game. And the ball club's playing better ball, and you can see it. You see it in their eyes. They came to the ballpark today with a little hop in their step, and it was all based on last night.
Well, Swanee, I don't think last night's game was maybe the cleanest game the Royals have played, but certainly the game from a fan standpoint and from our standpoint was one of the most entertaining games to watch, because you saw a little bit of everything.
You did, and you're not going to get a whole lot of people that are going to say they want to come to the ballpark to see a 2-1 baseball game. But last night's 2-1 game had all the elements. It had base runners. It had maybe a defensive miscue here or there, and edge of your seat action all night. And all night it was one pitch, and it ended up going our way.
Then with Luis Mendoza taking the no-hitter into the seventh inning, everyone was on their edge of their seats hoping that he was going to be able to complete that. But sure enough, got great backup from the bullpen. Royals able to pull out that win.
Yeah, in my career, I'm 2-6 in no-hitters. That's not exactly. I've been to 8 no-hitters, and I'm 2-6. And it was kind of exciting last night to be, you don't even want to get up and go get something to drink. You don't want to move your pen off the area it was on. You want to just keep everything as is, because you don't want to change any of the karma that's in the building. And if had Moose's foot not slipped, trying to make that throw, we may have been talking about history today.
His pitch count was in great shape. I mean, Ned, unless something dramatic had happened, Ned wasn't going to be confronted with what Terry Collins was with Johan Santana and an enormous pitch count. And Ned, who's, if anything, he's brutally honest and said that if he was in a position where Mendoza was going to get a no-hitter, he's going to run him out there. I mean, that's why the fans are here.
Absolutely. But then once that base runner got in scoring position, Ned had to think W. And we've all seen it, and Mendy held his own last night. But after that hit is finally on the board, trouble tends to happen to the pitcher, and Ned wasn't going to let that happen last night.
Outstanding play by Masonette, and then he throws it low, and Hart grabs it with his bare hand to end the inning. Swanee, thanks for stopping by. We'll see how we do with the broadcast auction and the radio TV experience.
We will see. Thank you.
Fourth inning, Joel Goldberg back at Rivals with Joy Sedlacek from Royals Charities, now proud mother of two. And we're excited to have you here because you're going to tell us about, I think, a new item this year, right?
We are. We have not had this item. We usually stick to experiences, but this year we were very fortunate and received the 10 bats, the lineup of the Royals, and we have 10 bats individually autographed by Royals starting lineup. So it's one-of-a-kind auction item. Usually when we auction these off, it's one at a time. So now you get all of them. It's incredible.
So we've got Mike Moustakas signed bat here in the front, and then in the back, this is a Gerard Dyson signed bat. So you're going to get all of those bats, and that's just a couple of them. And then you have a little surprise for us, too?
We do. I'll grab this here. We are going to throw in on top of the 10 bats a George Brett replica pine tar bat autographed by George. This is one of a kind. George doesn't sign many of these, so we're excited to throw this in as well.
Nice. George was just on that. Now, don't up the bidding on George. Well, you can. I mean, it's all for a good cause, but let's get the bidding going on this. And right now, let's see. I think we're at $1,500 for the Royals starting lineup autographed bats with the George Brett autographed bat with the pine tar on it. Nice out as we see there. And so, I mean, this is different too because someone's going to walk home with 10 autographed bats to display.
10 bats. I mean, you get Butler, you get Hosmer, you get Gordon, you get Moustakas, you get George. I mean, you get the entire lineup. It's awesome. It's an awesome package.
And I want to ask you, we've got all these things up here, and you know all about them, but you talked about a lot of the experiences that we do. And I mean, what kind of response have you had over the last couple of years when you have an Alex Gordon, and we'll talk about that in a moment, and an Eric Hosmer getting involved in these experiences with some kids?
The fans love it and the kids love it. And these guys, especially Gordon and Chen, and now Hosmer, we just added. I mean, these are unique experiences you can't get anywhere else. And these guys graciously donate their time. So the kids get 30 minutes to 45 minutes with these players on the field here at Kauffman. I mean, that's just, sacred ground. So fans love it. We're excited. And it all goes to charity, Royals Charities. So we keep the bids coming.
All right, well, Joy, we appreciate the effort as always. It's great to see you out here. I know you're busy being mom as well, which is a great thing. And don't take that pine tar bat home for the kids, all right?
I won't. I'll leave it. Somebody's going to want it. I know it. So.
All right, that is Joy Sedlacek. And so we've got a few of the bats out here, Ryan. I think that's pretty cool. Everybody always wants an autographed baseball. And when they're lucky enough we saw on the road, right, in Pittsburgh, a couple of those kids getting the Moose and Frenchie bats. So the possibility to go home with 10 of them, not a bad deal.
The whole lineup. That's impressive. Joel, how's the broadcast experience doing?
Well, George is up to 5,600, and we're at 800.
That's good. We were at 500.
Right. So we usually make a kind of a late push, don't we?
Right. Well, there's some add-ons.
Right. So it's okay. George is at 5,600. He'll have that steady climb, and we'll jump up. I mean, who wouldn't want to hang out with Ryan Lefebvre?
That's a long list. Do we want to start naming names?
With Monty.
There we go.
Well, Ryan, I like hanging out with you.
Well, thanks, Monty. Appreciate that.
Denny Matthews. All right, we'll get that one going. And Ryan, you just start throwing things in for people too. You do that, you know.
Mm-hmm. We don't want to tip our hands too soon, but there will be quite a few throw-ins. We're going to need cooperation from everybody. We just have to pick the right spot.
I mean, I could just throw a 5 in front of that 800. It'd give us the lead. It'll get up there. It's coming soon. So, otherwise, we've got bids on everything right now. George obviously on top with 5,600. We've got 1,600 on the throwing out the first pitch in the hot dog race. Be a Royals executive for a day, and I know Dayton Moore will join you in a bit. That's already up to $1,500, and we'll keep on raising great money. $1,000 for the hitting lessons with Eric Hosmer, and also great ticket packages too. So you could call and very affordable 816-504-4040, and there are a lot of great ticket packages available too.
All right, Joel. Jonathan Sanchez has called for a balk. First base umpire Dan Isonia, and the Royals want an explanation. By the rules, you can't argue a balk. But I think if I was reading his body language, he was saying that maybe
he broke the plane.
Yeah, the front leg can only go so far back. Well, it can't go back at all. It has to go straight up and either to first or straight up into the plate. But that front knee may have crossed with the back knee.
Yeah, if that front knee goes up and he goes toward first base and he has to go to first base, he goes home and he calls him for the balk.
Sanchez seems sincere in wondering why he had been called for the balk. He's only been called for 2, including tonight, in his entire career. So he doesn't have what some would refer to as a balk move, where it's going to be hit or miss depending on who the first base umpire is. And now after the balk, a walk. And that's the second straight walk given up by Jonathan Sanchez. He went the first 3 innings without a walk. So 2 on, 1 out. Dave Island goes to the mound. We go back out to Joel.
I just did a little investigative reporting on that right now leading $800 bid to hang out with you and company.
It went down?
No, it's still there. It's from one Donnie Miller, our cameraman.
From our crew?
So Donnie wants the night off.
That Donnie. No, the man right now that is shooting his own name, it's that Donnie.
Really?
D. Miller. I finished up with the report from Joy, and Donnie says, that's me. He's taking a picture of the board on his cell phone.
Wow.
What are you doing that for? D. Miller, that's me. So I guess what he's saying is that he doesn't get to hang out with us enough.
And if he wanted to, he could be kind of a stowaway if he wanted to and hang out with us and have that entire broadcast experience. But he's going to put some skin in the game. That way, Big Don.
Our director just said in my ear, I don't know if you heard it, and in Donnie's ear, you're not getting the night off.
Ball 1 now to Edwin Masonette. And he reached with an infield single in the 3rd inning. The Brewers tied the game last inning. They loaded the bases with 1 out. And all 3 runners that reached didn't get the ball past the infield grass. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aramis Ramirez with an infield single driving in Masonette to tie the game at 1. The Royals scored in the 1st inning tonight on a Billy Butler ground out that drove in Alex Gordon. That's a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Very important for Jonathan Sanchez here to get Edwin Masonette keep the ball on the ground. Chance for double play, pull hitter, maybe something down toward Mike Moustakis.
Fouled it off of his foot. Here's our Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet pitch speed comparison. Randy Wolf, more of a finesse lefty. Jonathan Sanchez, the reputation of a power lefty, but one thing that's been missing from him so far this year has been that fastball 94, 95 miles an hour. He's been about what we've seen tonight, topping out around 92.
Yeah, and I think that's maybe a sign that his arm was not 100%, had not recovered from the shoulder injury that he had last year.
Still 1-2. Remember, you can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Edwin Masonette was supposed to be the Brewers' shortstop at AAA this year, but because of injuries to Alex Gonzalez, their starter, and Cesar Izturis, their backup, Masonette is up, sharing that position with Cody Ransom. Ransom started at short last night. And now Masonette has fouled off 4 in a row. He's batting with Ransom at second, Gutierrez at first, and they both reach with walks.
This next pitch from Jonathan Sanchez will be number 76 on the night, so his pitch count is creeping up fairly quickly here.
And pitch count has been an issue for him this year. He has not gone more than 5 innings in any of his first 6 starts with the Royals. And now Nate Adcock will begin to warm up in the left field bullpen. You look at averages for Sanchez, averaging about 4 innings per start, but 90 pitches. That is again on average more than 20 pitches per inning. Stroke to center, and Dyson is back and makes a nice running play. Tagging up from second and going to third is Cody Ransom, and there are 2 outs. And now runners at the corners as Sanchez begins to go through the Brewers lineup for the 3rd time. Aoki reached with one of those infield singles last inning. He grounded out in the first. Sanchez with a fastball for a strike, 88 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's noticeable drop off here on his velocity.
One and one.
And when you don't have the arm strength, that's the most difficult thing. It's oftentimes not the velocity, getting the velocity up, but the ability to command the pitches. And you hear of a pitcher getting tired, he's getting the ball up in the strike zone. We don't see Sanchez really getting up in the strike zone, but the velocity has dropped off.
1-2. As Aoki almost spun himself into the ground with a wild swing. We just showed you he hits lefties well, and that's why, in somewhat of an unorthodox move, Ron Renicky leads him off tonight against Sanchez. Slaps it foul, still a ball and 2 strikes.
We're talking about Jonathan Sanchez's outings over the year. He got his first win of the season in his first outing, but he only went 5 innings. Only gave up 2 runs, but he did throw 99 pitches in those 5 innings.
Did he go? No swing. Bill Miller is the umpire at third base. It's 2-2. Up the middle, Betancourt backhands, flips with the glove to Escobar. So that forces out Gutierrez and finishes off the Brewers in a scoreless fourth. Ford dealer. By Steel, find a helpful servicing Steel dealer near you. Visit steeldealers.com. And by AT, the world's largest 4G network. AT, rethink possible. Another close game, 1-1 tie. Brewers and the Royals to the bottom of the fourth and back out to rivals.
Ryan, thanks. Joined right now by Alex Gordon's wife, Jamie. We always enjoy visiting with her, and this is a good package because I think kids really like learning from the players that they look up to. Fielding lessons with your husband.
Yes, that's right. I mean, he loves being with kids, and, you know, just I know if he was younger and got the experience to go do this with someone that he looked up to, he would have just absolutely loved it. So, you know, anything that he can kind of do to make a kid's, you know, day come true, you know, that's what he wants to do.
And we saw him hit like crazy last night, but we also saw the big defensive play. He won a Gold Glove award last year. Well, how much fun will it be for him just to be able to take three kids ages 10 to 18 and just get out there and teach them for 30, 40 minutes?
Right, and that kind of brings the fun back into baseball, you know, just going back and play like a kid does and just kind of have fun with them. And he's only been out there for 2 years, but just try to teach him what he knows at this point.
Yeah, only out there 2 years, and in his first full season as an outfielder, he wins a Gold Glove. He's a local guy, grew up not too far from here in Nebraska. Obviously, both of you did. Now, I have to ask Jamie something because, Ryan, I think you noticed last night that Jamie was down in the Crown Club last night, and she was there with a couple of other wives and maybe a wife from the other team. That would be Emily Granke. So, what was the reaction when your husband homered off of her husband?
Well, it was kind of a joke. We had talked earlier in the day, and I said, can Zach just please let him be 1 for 4? I'm like, he can strike him out 3 other times. I don't care. And so then when he hit the home run, she was like, I said a hit, not a home run. So, I mean, we just had fun with it. We're good friends with them, and we wish them the best of luck, and I know they do us too. So
we were talking last night because we had a Twitter question about do players talk with each other when they come back to a city, and Monty was bringing that up a little bit about how the wives really know each other more sometimes than the players. I mean, how about the history between, say, you know, your family and the Granke family, the Hochaver family, the Meyer family?
Right. Well, and that's the key is they really are like family. I mean, we've played together since minor leagues in Wichita, and so we've traveled together. We've been called up together. We've been sent down together, you know, so it really is just like family, and you don't forget that no matter what team you're on. So
even though you couldn't jump up and scream and yell after that home run out of, you know, respect for your friend, I mean, inside, you come on, you had to be pretty happy. We were all really happy.
Just a slight golf clap, you know, I didn't try to get too excited.
All right, very good. Very appropriate golf clap. We were excited. A lot of the wives are taking phone calls tonight, too, at 816-504-4040. How important is it for all of you? Because throughout the year, the wives and the girlfriends do a lot of work in the community too.
Right, it's a lot of fun, just to get on the phone and answer calls from fans and just try to get them riled up, to get the bid up and just have fun with it. It goes to a great cause, and just any way we can get involved, we're happy to do it.
All right, and so finally then we've got fielding lessons with Alex Gordon. The bid right now is at $800, and I think that is going to skyrocket soon, but let's talk this one up a little bit because Alex, you guys have a soon-to-be 2-year-old in Max, and he's a great father and good with the kids too, and so that one going to go right to center field. We got a nice bird's eye view of that actually out here, Ryan, but the chance to get out there and learn how to field with your husband.
Well, I trust him with my own child, so I think you can all trust him with yours. He's a great guy, a lot of fun, and not only a Gold Glover, but it's 4 Crown Club seats. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. You'll never experience a baseball game like that, so it's a complete package.
And they're going to get autographs too.
Yes, each kid will get an autographed baseball by him, and he'll make it fun. He'll take them to the locker room, add stuff in as he can.
All right, well, we appreciate the visit. As always, Jamie, looking forward to seeing Max soon because he's always a lot of fun. And maybe a couple more hits for Alex tonight. We'll take that, too.
We'll take it. Thanks, Joel.
All right, that is Jamie Gordon. Could you imagine that conversation last night, Ryan, between Emily Granke and Jamie Gordon as that home run was hit in the first?
I would think that'd be a little odd because for so many years they were all sitting together pulling in the same direction. But that was quite a thrill last night, and wondering how the Royals would do against Zach Greinke, and before he could get an out in the first inning, Alex Gordon put one into the water in right center field. That was a great line. Jamie said she trusts Alex with her own children. So there's the endorsement that you can trust Alex with your children here at Kauffman Stadium. And Alex will do a great job.
Well, we're fortunate to get a chance to know these players around them nearly every day, and it's a great batch of guys, and Alex is right there at the top of the list. And I'm sure the 3 players who have the opportunity to experience the lessons with Alex Gordon, they're going to remember maybe something about throwing the baseball or whatever he's going to teach them, but more importantly, they're going to remember that day they're going to spend here at Kauffman Stadium, going out on the field, and just the experience that not many people have the opportunity to have.
Ricky Weeks throws out his former double play combo partner, Alcides Escobar, and the Royals are down 1-2-3 in the fourth. A fielding tutorial for 3 kids. And as we continue with our Royals broadcast auction, General Manager Dayton Moore is here, and Dayton has graciously agreed to participate in a tour of Kauffman Stadium, which includes time with Dayton and Royals President Dan Glass. And if that's not good enough, as I'm just looking at some of the details here, they're going to get a private tour of the Royals clubhouse. They're going to get a chance to meet Ned Yost. This is for 2 batting practice on the field, and one of the 2 participants will get to deliver the lineup card with the Royals coach at home plate as they gather around the plate with the umpires for that night, as well as 2 crown seats and 1 premium parking pass. And that is music to a fan's ears if they can win that bid, as Dayton is up here watching Jonathan Sanchez strike out Carlos Gomez. Very gracious of you, Dayton, to be a part of that.
Great. No, it would be a lot of fun. And, you know, we love to engage our fans, as you know, and it's for a great cause, obviously. Royals Charities does so much to help people throughout the community, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Dayton might be a great opportunity for some fan to maybe get a little better understanding about what goes on in your daily life as a general manager and what goes on when you're considering trades or call-ups, things like that.
Well, it can, and, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and, you know, I got to be very truthful with you. Most days, you know, you don't know what to do to improve your team. You know, you're constantly in communication with your scouts and your development people, and certainly, you know, your constant communication with Ned Yost and trying to figure out ways to improve the baseball team and, you know, throughout, in fact, the entire organization. And, you know, we just had the draft, as you know, and such a complex event and a challenging event. And, you know, Lonnie Goldberg and J.J. Picola and all of our scouts do a tremendous job, you know, with that. But it's all encompassing, this job, and but it's a lot of fun. You're blessed to be a part of baseball, and, you know, again, to be able to share a little bit with our fans and you know, what goes in day to day is it'd be exciting.
Well, how about with your job? I mean, would you say you work harder during the season or the off season?
You know, I would say that in the off season is a little more challenging to find time because it's endless. I mean, you can always do more. And, you know, during the season, you know where you're going to be on most nights, and there's a rhythm to it, Monty. And you know, during the off season, again, it's endless, and you can always do more. You can always make more phone calls. You can always inquire about more players and gather more evaluation. So it becomes, again, you know, a 24-hour deal.
What's the most common question a fan will ask you about being general manager?
You know, probably about trades. You know, what goes into a trade, and, you know, how many conversations do you have before a trade is consummated, and you know, things along those lines. And, you know, oftentimes, in fact, the overwhelming majority of the conversations that you have concerning trades really never materialize, and the ones that you know, gather momentum often become so complex at the end that they fall through, whether it be the economics of it. As you know, in today's game, economics plays a huge part of what you do. So but it's just a lot of communication and trying to stay on top of, you know, the other organization's prospects and you know, where they are, what their goals are, because to do a deal, you want it to work for everybody. And so if you want it to get it done, you got to know exactly what the other team's looking for and, you know, what their objectives are.
Well, last night was a great example. We saw Zach Greinke on the mound, a player that brought a lot of players to the Royals that are going to be here for a long time. So that seems like a trade that worked out for both teams.
It is, and, you know, when you got to have good players to trade for good players. You're not going to fool anybody, you know, in this game, and that was a deal that I think worked out for everybody.
Ryan Braun leaving too soon, so he's caught stealing. 1-3-6 and 2 down in the 5th inning. While we have you up here, Dayton, you were talking about the draft, and Royals have signed their first-round pick, Kyle Zimmer. Seems like the early returns are very positive with the new rules.
You know, Ryan, I think that what it's doing is getting players out playing. And as you both know, you both played this game at a very high level. And the only way you improve is to play every single day. And the system that we had in the past was forcing players to hold out all summer. And they're not getting better. This is a game of repetition. And it's not who jumps the highest or runs the fastest or who's the strongest. It's who can compete, who can manage the ups and downs of professional baseball, and who can learn to play the game, because you have to be able to play the game and play the game well to be successful.
Well, you talked about the trade working both parties in the Brewers trade. We have Jake Odorizzi, who's doing a great job in the farm system, a player that no fans have seen here in a Royals uniform, and also Will Myers, who's done really well. With a couple guys down on the farm, everyone's talking about them, and you got to be happy with what their development process is.
We really are. You know, Mike Arbuckle saw Jake Odorizzi throw yesterday and felt he was tremendous, just commanding his fastball very, very well. He's got a lot of finish to his pitches, and, you know, we're excited about where he is. We really didn't anticipate him coming as quickly as he has at this point in time. So we're continuing to evaluate that, and he continues to dominate AAA, he's going to force our hand at some point in time. And, Will Meyer hasn't missed a beat. He was probably the most productive and successful minor league player since the fall league of last year, of 2011. What he began to accomplish there, and he's just carried it over. Went to AA, was terrific, and he's been outstanding in AAA as well. And we're moving him and allowing him to play multiple positions because, one, he's very skilled at being able to do that, and we want to take advantage of his athleticism. And as a player's ability offensively becomes major league ready, you got to look for opportunity to get him on the field, and he's gifted enough to play him again in multiple positions.
Mike Moustakis makes a nice play on a short hop and puts an end to the inning. Dayton, thanks for stopping by.
Okay, Rhino. Let's get some runs now. Let's go.
Being part of the broadcast auction.
Thanks, Mike.
And 3 friends at Kauffman Stadium. Then you'll get to cheer us on that evening for the Bats Crown Club right behind home plate. Call to bid now.
And right now, that bid, the pitching lesson with Bruce Chen, is at $700 for 3 players ages 10 to 18. It's here at the stadium. It includes 4 Bats Crown Seats tickets right behind home plate, 1 premium parking pass, an autographed ball from Bruce Chen, and the game to be mutually agreed upon, and the experience is weather permitting. You can call 816-504-4040 to make a bid on the pitching lesson with Bruce Chen. And we emphasize the word pitching as Gerard Dyson lays down a pretty good bunt. Randy Wolf makes a better play to get him near the first base line. So Dyson is 0 for 2 tonight, 1 down in the 5th inning. And you're not going to get a throwing lesson from Bruce Chen. Bruce Chen, who is the ultimate pitcher, will be able to help a youngster out with some of the finer points of that craft.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there maybe is not a joke of the day built into that.
Sitting next to Luis Mendoza, who was so good last night, giving up just the 1 hit and the 1 run in 6 innings. That was a 2-1 final, and another game dominated by pitching tonight. A 1-1 tie in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Royals scored right away in the 1st. Billy Butler with a ground out, scoring Alex Gordon. And the Brewers tied it in the 3rd against Jonathan Sanchez. The Ramos Ramirez infield single scored Edwin Masonette. Humberto Quintero, he just owns Randy Wolf. In 18 career at-bats, he has 7 hits, a home run, and a double. That was tonight, leading off the 3rd inning. The Royals couldn't get him around. 2 balls, 2 strikes in this plate appearance. short hop by Corey Hart. He goes to the bag himself, 2 down. So a couple of good defensive plays on the right side of the infield for the Brewers in this inning.
Randy Wolf coming off a game in his last start against the Chicago Cubs. He went 6 2/3 innings, 4 hits, only 1 run. It was unearned, so he's backing it up with another solid game tonight.
Trying to win his first game since April 30th. And he beat the Padres in San Diego. Randy Wolf mentioned earlier a second-round pick of the Phillies in '97 out of Pepperdine. Got to the big leagues 2 years later. He was with the Phillies 1999 to 2006. And his best year was 03 when he went 16-10. He goes to the bag himself. 3 ground ball outs and only 9 pitches needed by Wolf in the 5th.
Royals, and welcome back to Rivals. Joel Goldberg with Royals Vice President Toby Cook and Laura Grosshans, who has a prop. So before we talk about ticket packages, what's going on with this jersey here and this bat?
We just talked about the June 26th George Brett suite that we're auctioning off, which is probably going to be our biggest item. He did donate this bat. It's got an all-star logo on it, and then Laura's holding the George Brett jersey. There are 2 powder blue jerseys that we're going to show off that night and then get autographed for the winner. So if it wasn't enough that you get to watch George Brett and baseball together, we're going to include these things in the package.
Well, those are the 2 leaders right now, too. I mean, I know this is all encompassed in the George Brett. George is at $7,600, and then that other package, which does include a George Brett pine tar bat and all the bats from the lineup, is at $7,500. We still need a little bit of help with the broadcast package. We'll deal with that shortly, but Toby, how about just for people that might be watching and saying, I want to donate or I want to get some tickets, and maybe they're not going to, go and spend thousands of dollars, but they can get great value?
A couple of things that you can do. You can get involved in this $99 ticket package, and it's a big deal. There are 3 different games that we're offering in July, August, and September. Go on to Royals.com/broadcast auction, or you can look at the bottom of your screen for those dates. But it's a $99 price for a $331 package. 4 Loge level tickets. There's a BP jersey, there's a hat, there's parking, there's outfield experience tickets. It's a great deal. And then the final thing that we added this year is that if you just want to make a $20 donation to Royals Charities and the broadcast auction, you can do that as well. 816-504-4040. If you hit option 1, you can either check out the experiences or the cash donation. Option 2 are the ticket packages.
And again, $8,500 raised last year going to charities throughout the area and almost region. I mean, a lot of the money that was raised last year helped out some of those folks in Joplin, didn't it?
It did. We raised $25,000 initially for Joplin, literally within the first 36 hours of that tornado on May the 22nd. But we've given to Special Olympics, to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, to Operation Breakthrough, to Variety, the children's charity, and just about every 501c3 you can think of in the Kansas City area. If you give to Royals Charities, it will go to a great cause.
All right, well, the board keeps on moving here, and the pitching lessons with Bruce Chen, $1,000. Fielding with Alex Gordon, $1,200. Hitting lessons with Eric Hosmer, $1,000. Ryan, we are right now at $1,400. So if you want to, start throwing some things in, go ahead. George is at $7,600. The bats are at $7,500, and so we see all the movement here on the board. And there's Laura right now, best handwriting in the business. Mm-hmm. And we know what Dayton Moore just came on and talked about, and now he and company are up to $3,000.
Well, I think what fans are thinking about now, Joel, being executive for a day, that they could then call up Jake Odorizzi and Will Myers. They would have that authority.
Dayton Moore would like to see you on line 2. Yes, he'll be back in the booth in a minute. But, maybe he'll talk to them about it, though. That's good.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if he'll let them pull the trigger on a trade or an actual transaction. That would really jump the value, wouldn't it?
Well, the Royals want those guys up here as much as anybody else.
Yep.
Just trying to find the right time.
You heard the key word from Dayton, opportunity. Look for opportunity for them to come in and make a splash.
And, the other thing is they've been patient with these kids. And the guys that we're talking about are 21, 22 years old. And they want to make sure that when they come up here, they stay here. And they don't want to make a mistake on that and rush anyone.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Kelvin Herrera. And that's a good point, Joel, and something that we've all tried to bring up about how this regime is bringing players to the major leagues. When a team rushes a player and he's not ready, that begins to get pretty expensive rather quickly. I mean, we've seen the scenario before where a player comes up from the minor leagues. The first year he's not ready, so he gives you nothing. The second year, maybe the first half he struggles, second half he starts to put it together. And then his third year, he begins to finally do something that helps the team win consistently. Well, now his salary is going to go up by 10 times the very next season. And so it behooves the Royals for the long term to do what they did with Eric Hosmer, where they brought him up from the minor leagues last year. And yes, it was early May, but Hosmer was ready to play, and he was ready to produce when he got here.
And we saw that with last night's Brewers starting pitcher with Zach Greinke. The player who came up early and struggled a little bit early.
And another player who was ready when he got here, Kelvin Herrera. And he gets the Brewers 1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Slam-inning contestant is Darren Watson, who lives in Overland Park, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Darren wins $1,400. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Darren wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals, with Unievsky Betancourt, Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer coming up. And if anybody gets on, Jeff Francoeur. Randy Wolf had an ERA of 5.45 before he threw a pitch tonight. But home runs have not been a problem for him. He's only allowed 6 this year, and that now covers 73 innings. Betancourt 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts. He's hacking at the first pitch and fouls it back into the upper deck.
Wolf has been very pitch efficient tonight. Only 72 pitches coming into this inning. Threw 5 complete, so nice work from him on the mound.
And a pitch at 59 miles an hour is grounded to Ricky Weeks for the first out. That was the last time Betancourt saw a pitch that was 59 miles an hour. All right, our Sprint You Call It question for tonight. Your favorite experience that's up for bid in our Royals Charities broadcast auction. Text 432-432. Enter keyword Royals followed by a space and then A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, or I. Billy goes up the middle and past the diving Masonette. So Billy, who drove in the Royals run in the first, now has his first hit. And that's the Royals' first hit since the 3rd inning.
Nice spacious middle of the diamond. Billy Butler does a nice job using that middle. Scored one by Masonette at shortstop.
Wouldn't be surprised to see Billy go on one of his tears now offensively, after having the burden lifted from him last night with that big hit in the 8th inning. Mentioned earlier he had gone 9 games without an RBI. He had personally been 0 for his last 17 with runners in scoring position. And tonight, with a simple ground ball to short in the 1st inning, he drove in the Royals run. Eric Hosmer's had 2 very good swings against Randy Wolf. He singled to left in the 1st inning and then lost a hit and an RBI on a nice play at short by Masonette. So twice against Wolf he's hit the ball hard going the other way. Two and one. Three balls, one strike. One of the items up for bid tonight, a personal hitting lesson with Eric Hosmer for 3 kids right here at Kauffman Stadium. Right now that is at $1,000. Belted to right center, and closing in on it is Aoki. And it looked like he may have lost it either in the lights or maybe in some white shirts in the upper deck. A few awkward steps before making the play, but making the play he does, and 2 down.
Eric Hosmer really hits this ball well. I think he felt like maybe he got a little more of it than he did, but Aoki right there. Off the bat, it sounded like he got more of it.
Change up for a strike to Jeff Francoeur. Grounded out to short in the 1st inning and struck out looking in the 4th. One and one. Had a good swing and fouled it back, and now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, smaller numbers because so many options tonight. It's a tie between the fielding lesson with Alex Gordon and a day with the Royals broadcast team. 15%. To left field. Braun is back. He's at the fence, and it's off the screen. Butler to third. Eddie Rodriguez is going to wave him home. The throw to the plate is a strike, and Butler is out. So at the end of 6, we still have a 1-1 tie. And now open in Brookside. Visit us online at PaneraKansas.com. By Thoroughbred Ford, the best deals on new Fords are at ThoroughbredFord.com. And by AT Uverse, the new wireless receiver from AT Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. And on the topic of that, here is our AT&T Uverse reverse replay.
Right, Jeff Francoeur gets a nice pitch from Randy Wolf to drive, hits it over Ryan Braun's head. He comes in with a nice on-target relay throw to Masonette and out at the plate.
It's a part of that play that we really don't talk about enough, and the Masonette throw, a perfect strike to Kataris. But if Ryan Braun doesn't give Masonette a good feed on the initial throw from left field, Masonette has no chance to make the throw that he did.
And it takes two well-executed plays, one on the throw to the cutoff man, and then Masonette's throw to Kataris has to be on the money too. Billy Butler not very fast. Plenty of time for Kataris to apply the tag. Randy Wolf's just loving it.
And now Masonette comes back to lead off the 7th with a base hit, bringing up the top of the order against Kelvin Herrera, who was impressive in the 6th. Phase 3, retired all 3 with a couple of strikeouts. And Aoki gets the bunt down. Hosmer will get it over to Betancourt for the out. And moving up to second base is Masonette. Let's go out to Joel.
Well, Ryan, going back to the play to end last inning too, and you know, on one thought you might say, well, Billy Butler's slow, so why do you send him in that situation? But having talked to Eddie, and we talked about this before, all the different things that go through his mind, and I'm guessing we'll have to talk to him. He's also saying, okay, the team's struggling to knock in runners when they're in scoring position. You also have, yes, a good hitter, but you have a lefty coming up in Mike Moustakas. Randy Wolf is good, as you guys pointed out before, against lefties. So there's a lot that goes into this and a lot of different levels of thinking.
And now right away he has to switch roles, going from third base coach to Royals infield coach, and you saw him communicating with Mike Moustakas and reminding him that the batter now, Carlos Gomez, he will bunt. So to be ready for that. Gomez stays in with Herrera on the mound. He is a much better hitter against lefties, and the Royals started Jonathan Sanchez tonight. Sanchez went 5 and gave up 1 run. One ball, 2 strikes.
And right now we see Aaron Crow beginning to throw down in the Royals bullpen. Same situation maybe as last night. Comes in and needs to get a strikeout, although Kelvin Herrera is a strikeout guy as well.
And Gomez will strike out. He has already struck out twice tonight and 19 times this year in 100 at-bats. Fouls it off to the first base side. We stay at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals bullpen has been outstanding lately. Been very good all year. With Herrera's scoreless inning tonight in the 6th, the bullpen has allowed 1 earned run in its last 14 innings. Huge break for Masonette. Well, Gomez strikes out for a 3rd time. Masonette moves up to 3rd without a throw. And that is his first stolen base of the year.
Big situation where he gets a walking lead. He's halfway to 2nd before Kelvin Herrera even delivers a pitch. So Quintero not even an opportunity to throw to 3rd base.
And it brings up Ryan Braun. And Herrera can be careful with him if he elects to. Braun singled in the 5th inning. He's 1 for 3, but he made a big out in the Brewers' half of the 3rd inning. Brewers got 3 on against Jonathan Sanchez, and the 3 that reached didn't get the ball out of the infield grass. So they had the bases loaded with 1 out. Braun coming up, last year's MVP. He has 15 home runs, 40 RBIs, and Sanchez struck him out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ryan Braun last year in winning the MVP hit .332, 33 home runs, 111 RBIs, and 33 stolen bases. And now he drives in his 41st run of the year. And the Milwaukee Brewers, for the first time in the series, have a lead. It is 2-1 in the 7th inning.
Well, Ryan Braun is such a run producer here. He gets a pitch down and in. Not a bad location from Kelvin Herrera. Gets the ground ball, but with the bat speed of Ryan Braun, that ball's through the infield. With Alcides Escobar with not a chance to make a play.
And that brings us to Aramis Ramirez, who drove in the first Brewers run with an infield single in the 3rd inning. He has 2 hits tonight. Talking about Ryan Braun's year last year, I mentioned the 33 stolen bases, so he will run, and he's at about the same pace this year, a little behind. He has 11 stolen bases. Ball 1 to Ramirez.
Ryan Braun's had a very similar year across the board, numbers-wise, and talked about the performance-enhancing drug test at the end of the year that it was so controversial, but it's obvious that he's really kind of picked up exactly where he left off last year.
Caught by Escobar at short. That ends the inning. The Brewers take the lead on Braun's 2-out single. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium, 2-1 Milwaukee. Bottom of the 7th inning. We invite you to join George Brett, Mike Sweeney, Jeff Montgomery, and other baseball legends for the MLB All-Star Charity 5K and Fun Run presented by Nike. It's on July 8th. It's a family-friendly event, and will take fans of all ages through an all-star course in downtown Kansas City. Official all-star t-shirts and medals for all finishers, and 100% of net proceeds supports the fight against cancer. You can sign up now at allstargame.com/5K. So Randy Wolf pitching with the lead. He'll get Mike Moustakas, Alcides Escobar, and Gerard Dyson. Similar games last night, 1-1 tie. Royals took the lead in the 8th and won 2-1. There was a key out at the plate, which took a run away from Milwaukee. Tonight, 2-1 Brewers with the go-ahead run coming in the 7th. And the Brewers have thrown a runner out at the plate, taking a run away from the Royals. Ryan Braun hooking up with Edwin Masonette. Masonette throwing out Billy Butler in the 6th inning, and then Ryan Braun putting the Brewers in front with a single in the 7th. Now Moustakas reaches with a leadoff walk, and that's just the second given up by Randy Wolf. Tonight's AT trivia question: who are the 3 players to represent both the Royals and Brewers in an all-star game?
I think one of them is in the house at least. I believe Kevin Seitzer made that.
Yep. Good call. Now, does that include this year's All-Star game? It does not. Ned Yost, who was part of a coaching staff when he was with the Brewers and is representing the Royals this year on the coaching staff.
So the footnote reads, it must be as a player.
It became official today that Ned Yost will be on Ron Washington's staff representing the American League, and Royals head trainer Nick Kenny also named to the staff at a press conference before the game tonight.
Happy for Ned Yost. Old hat for him. It's his 5th, but Nick Kenny, that's one that's going to be special, having the opportunity to be involved in such a spectacle. Does a great job as a Royals trainer.
It's always an honor. You know, I've been in this game a long time. Been to the World Series 6 times. This will be my 5th All-Star game. And my fondest memories of my career in baseball come from the All-Star games.
To have the opportunity to work with these tremendous athletes is a great honor. I think what the biggest thing is to actually do it with your home team. You know, a true blue now.
One hop. Ransom to second, bobbled by Weeks, and still in time for the double play. Getting a little help from 6'6" Corey Hart, stretching towards second and shortening the distance of that throw from Ricky Weeks.
Nice play. He's playing perfectly at third base. Ricky Weeks has a little trouble getting rid of it, but as you mentioned, Corey Hart really shortens the throw. It's about an 80-foot throw with him playing first.
Masonette goes to the middle. Gerard Dyson is out. He is 0 for 3. The Royals do not turn a leadoff walk into a run against Randy Wolf in the 7th.
Stadium as Panera takes us around the league. Battle in Ohio again. Brandon Phillips with 3 RBIs. Johnny Peralta, a pair knocked in for the Tigers as they lead the Cubs at Wrigley Field by 1. A couple of other scores involving American League Central teams. Good to see John Mayberry Jr. 4 RBIs. I'm sure Big John loving that. And late in the game on the other side of the state, Carlos Beltran with yet another home run. Cardinals on top of the White Sox 1-0. And we are back out here at Rivals with Royals Vice President Toby Cook. The ticket packages, we talked about them before. What's going on? Can people still buy them?
They can. We still have some ticket packages available. This was a hot item a year ago, and we don't want to be non-sold out. We do have some left. This is a $99 deal for 4 tickets for 3 different games. You choose between the 3, one in July, one in August, and one in September, 2 Friday nights and 1 Sunday against the Angels. It's a $330 value for $99. 4 Lowe's level tickets. You get a BP jersey. You get a retro 1960s Kansas City A's cap, outfield experience tickets, parking. It's one of our best deals, and they did really, really well, but we'd love to sell some more.
And people can call in and just make a $20 donation, too?
Yeah, if you call 816-504-4040, if you hit option 1, you can talk about and bid on all of these experiences we have up here on the board, or you can make a $20 donation to Royals Charities. Had people say to us in years past, well, we're not going to spend $1,500 tonight, but we'd love to help you out, so that's a great way to do it. Option 2 is that ticket package, and it's about as good as we've got to offer.
You see Aaron Crow in the game right now. Final thing, Toby, for the moment, that broadcast experience, can you help us get it up there a little bit?
We need to. We had Swanee talking about it earlier tonight, our VP of Communications and broadcasting. We've got all of our broadcasters, including our radio guys and our TV guys, that are going to welcome you, and we'll take you all over. Again, we deliver more than we promise, and this broadcast auction is this broadcast experience is a great way to see what our broadcasters see behind the scenes at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals wives taking calls and our other staff all throughout the night. Royals Charities, 100% of the proceeds tonight goes to our efforts to help people all throughout the Kansas City area.
All right, we see some more movement on the bidding. By the way, Ryan, I should, and Monty, let you know that George Brett is top $10,000. He's up to $11,000. That's just normal for him. And be a Royals executive for a day is at $3,500. Throwing out the first pitch in the hot dog race, that's at $3,000. Let's play ball, $2,500. The bats are up to $7,600. Now we got to get that broadcast experience up a little bit. Let's go.
Okay, you get to come to the ballpark, spend some time in the television booth. You get to spend some time in the radio booth. Get a chance to go behind the scenes with Royals radio producer engineer Don Free. We're going to send you out to the television production truck where you'll experience television from behind the scenes.
You know what? They could be a stage manager out here for our pre or post game show if they'd like.
How about, I tell you what people would really enjoy, Joel, is how about the opportunity to go on the field with you when you do your post game interview, which is both up on Crown Vision and on Fox Sports Kansas City.
That would work. They could even, if the Royals win, and they could even pick the guest.
Okay, how about that? We'll let you pick the guest. That will be interviewed by Joel on the field after the game up on Crown Vision. Win or lose, they're going to be down there, Joel, right? Because you have to be prepared in the event that the Royals win, even if they're down in the 9th inning. You don't have time to run down from the press box to the camera base, so they'll get a chance to watch part of the game from basically on the field at the same level as the Royals dugout. So we'll include that one.
And how about Monty? They can even have a little input in the post-game show. They could help us choose some topics and discussion points.
Yeah, they can help produce a show, and if they are not able to go on field and maybe ask a question of the Royals star that night in the event the Royals don't win, they could come on and be part of our show.
That's fine with me. How's that, Ryan?
There you go. So we'll throw that one in. Ricky Weeks, 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts tonight, but that was his 40th walk. Strange to see that many walks for a guy that's hitting right around 160, so 1 on, 1 out against Aaron Crow. Weeks has stolen 4 bases. He hasn't been thrown out. Ball one to Cody Ransom. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a walk. Royals got their run in the bottom of the first inning. Alex Gordon doubled. A ground ball from Betancourt got him to third. A ground ball from Butler got him home. And now Milwaukee scoring a run in the third and a run in the seventh. Weeks is not running, and Crow with a good slider to even the count 1-1 on Cody Ransom.
Right, Randy Wolf has thrown a nice game tonight, thrown 95 pitches, but it looks like Francisco Rodriguez up, and maybe he's going to be entering the game in the 8th inning tonight. Royals got to him last night, so stay tuned.
He was the losing pitcher and gave up that base hit to Billy Butler in the bottom of the 8th inning. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ransom. Well, we all know the Royals have struggled this month to score runs, but they've had an outstanding month so far on the mound. The Royals have the second best ERA in the American League in the month of June. And that earned an average right around 3. The New York Yankees by far have the best ERA this month. It is about 2.1. And the Yankees have used that pitching to win 5 in a row, and they're in first place in the American League East. Ransom reaches out and hooks it into left field. Ricky Weeks stops at second base, 2 on with 1 out. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question for tonight. We asked you, what 3 players represented both the Royals and the Brewers in an all-star game? You said Kevin Seitzer. How about Jim Sundberg? Darryl Porter. Should have known Darryl Porter. Ellie Rodriguez was an original Royal. So there you have it. Aaron Crow will come out. And Jose Mojarez comes in. A Chevy call to the bullpen. Royals down 2-1 in the top of the 8th. To begin the 8th inning, and then walk Ricky Weeks, gave up a single to Cody Ransom. So Jose Mojarez comes on with 2 on, 1 out, and the Brewers counter with the move as Brooks Conrad will pinch hit for George Gutierrez. Conrad made the final out of the game last night with runners at first and third and 2 down, grounded out to Alcides Escobar, who ran to second base for the Force. And now Conrad is 0 for 12 this year with 7 strikeouts as a pinch hitter. Mojarez evens the count at 1-1.
Ryan, I mentioned last night he's played in 21 games at the AAA level with 30 hits and 74 at bats, hitting .405 in AAA. So, again, the 0 average here can be deceiving.
Brewers have the lead and probably feel like they should have a bigger lead. They have 2 runs on 10 hits. They have left 8 runners on base. Jonathan Sanchez threw almost 100 pitches in his 5 innings, but he pitched well with men on. Only gave up 1 run in the 5 innings and stranded 7. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Conrad. Royals, on the other hand, have scored just 1 run, 6 hits, but they have stranded 4. So they've had far fewer opportunities than the Brewers. And here we are in a 1-run game in the 8th inning. Royals trying to keep it right there.
Jose Mijares looking to strand these runners. He's inherited 19, given up 8.
And that is caught by Quintero, so Conrad strikes out, 2 down.
Nice slider by Jose Mijares. He has 2 different sliders he'll throw. This one's one that has a little more bite to it, more of a big sweeping break. Very effective here against Conrad.
And now Edwin Masonette, the number 9 hitter, batting at 200. But he hasn't looked like a 200 hitter tonight. He's had a big night for the Brewers at the plate and in the field.
Yeah, Edwin Masonette's done a nice job. Nice pick here on Eric Hosmer. Gets a little help over at first base. And then he's a cutoff man from the outfield on the plate against Billy Butler. Gets it going here. 7th inning with a base hit. Has scored both the Brewers' runs.
Mijares comes in, gets the job done. He strands 2 more runners to the bottom of the 8th with Quintero, Gordon, and Betancourt coming up. The Royals are down by 1.
After the game on Boulevard Royals Live, Jeff Montgomery will head on over here to Rivals, and we will break down this game. First star coming off the disabled list for Jonathan Sanchez. The Royals still trying to figure out a way to score some runs here. We'll talk about that. And final numbers on the broadcast auction, and still a little bit of time left.
Yeah.
I see well over $35,000 worth on that board right there, Toby.
You bet. It's great. We love the fact that Kansas City Royals fans have come out. We're at 11,000 on this George Brett Sweet Night. If you didn't see it a couple of minutes ago, George has agreed to sign a couple of jerseys, powder blue jerseys, for the winner of the Sweet Night on June the 26th. We play the Tampa Bay Rays. And then he's also autographing, and he's not going to do it until you guys show up to the game, but that Tuesday, June the 26th game, it's got an All-Star logo on it. He's our All-Star ambassador. That's about as big a keepsake as we have here, but really a big thanks to the folks that have bid tonight.
Well, we appreciate that and appreciate all the work, and then we'll take a look at those final numbers during the postgame show.
Sounds great, and we do have that ticket package available still, $99 for a $330 value. It's got a lot of great stuff.
816-504-4040. Toby, thanks. Guys, let's go back to you in the booth.
All right, let's see if we can rally the Royals in the bottom of the 8th and rally our viewers to up their bid on the day with the Royals broadcast team, as Francisco Rodriguez will pitch the bottom of the 8th inning. He took the loss last night, and that was an inning that began with an Alex Gordon double, and now Quintero goes up the right field side, drops a base hit in front of Aoki, who was guarding the line. So that's a single and a 2-hit game for Quintero. Good start in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Francisco Rodriguez comes in, he gets a ball up. That ball does not have much finish to it, stays right in the middle part of the plate. And Humberto Quintero drives the ball down the right field line. See, he gets out on the front foot a little bit, but still controlled enough to handle the bat. Comes up with a single.
Quintero will come out for a little better speed, and Chris Getz will run at first base. And now it's Alex Gordon and Francisco Rodriguez. And again, Alex opening the 8th inning against Rodriguez last night with a double to left field. And a ball that we thought was misjudged by Ryan Braun. He was going back as hard as he could as soon as Alex made contact, and it sailed over his head.
Yeah, the ball did carry on him. Don't want to say that he was loafing on a place. It didn't really look like it. It just looked like he maybe got a misread off the bat of Alex Gordon.
One ball, one strike. That was Alex's second career hit against Francisco Rodriguez. He's 2 out of 3 against the Brewers setup man. Down to the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Royals scored in the first. They got a 1-out single in the second, a 2-out walk in the third, a leadoff double in that inning, and then a 2-out walk. Royals went down 1-2-3 in the 4th and the 5th innings. They had 2 runners in the 6th, but came up empty. Alex goes the other way, and again it's Braun into the corner, and leaping on the warning track, gets rounded second base. So has to retouch, and he'll get back standing, 1 out.
Like Ryan Braun maybe learned a little bit from last night on the ball that came off Alex Gordon's bat. This ball goes nearly to the fence, makes a nice play, has to leave his feet a little bit. Feeling for the wall out there. I guess he has to touch second going back to first. If he doesn't, then he's able to be called out. So nice job on base running, getting back to first.
And now Betancourt, the former Brewer, for a year. Uni tonight is 0 for 3. Lost a base hit on a fine play at third base by Cody Ransom in the 3rd inning, and that was with Quintero at second base and 1 out. Ransom again to his glove side, and the Brewers turn a double play. That is their third tonight. So we go to the ninth. It's still 2-1 Milwaukee. Royals have hit into 3 double plays tonight and into double plays in the last 2 innings. Don't forget, you still have time to bid on tonight's Royals Charities broadcast auction, 816-504-4040. Option 1 for the experiences and the donations. Option 2 for the ticket packages. Jose Mojarras stays in for the 9th inning. He was on the mound for the last 2 outs in the 8th. The Royals started Jonathan Sanchez, his first game back from the disabled list. He went 5, gave up 1 run. Kelvin Herrera gave up a run in the 7th. He went 2 innings. Aaron Crow got 1 out in the 8th. Mojarras got 2 outs. And now he gets the top of the order. Aoki, Gomez, and Braun. Although this could be the only batter that Mojarras faces. Greg Holland is warming up in the bullpen with right-hand batters coming up. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Don't forget about that attractive Day with the Royals broadcast team package. You'll get a chance to spend 1 inning in the television booth, 1 inning in the radio booth. You'll go out to the television production truck. You can have dinner with the Royals broadcasters in the press club before the game. Vice President Mike Swanson will take you down to the dugout to watch batting practice. You can sit in on Ned Yost's pregame press conference. You'll get your own personal press conference with Ned Yost. Left center field, the Royals were shallow, and Aoki gets it in between Dyson and Gordon, and he'll be at second base with nobody out.
Aoki, not a power hitter. Royals outfielders were playing shallow. He finds a little bit of a seam between Dyson and Alex Gordon in left field. Turns it into a double.
And remember, Aoki is better against left-hand pitching than he is right-hand pitching. We've been talking about the first 2 games of the series, and he comes through again with a double. That's his second hit, and now it is Greg Holland with Gomez, Braun, and Ramirez coming up. In the 8th inning, making sure the infield is on the same page. If Carlos Gomez bunts here, Greg Holland comes on with Aoki at second base, nobody out. Holland pitched a scoreless 8th inning last night. And Gomez bunting, gets it out in front of the plate. And Pena throws it wide and up the line. So Aoki scores. It is 3-1 Milwaukee in the 9th inning with nobody out.
Gomez drops down a really nice bunt here. Brian Pena out. I think he had a little more time than he thought he had. Throwing a little across his body. Tough play for anyone, especially a catcher, all the gear on. Unieski not able to knock that ball down. As a result, Aoki scores.
It's a sacrifice. And an error on Brian Pena. The error allows Aoki to go from third base to the plate. And now you have to worry about Gomez at first base. He came on as a pinch runner in the 9th inning last night and stole second. Ryan Braun grounds it to Moustakas, out at second, and a first for a double play. So 2 down, nobody on.
Nice job by Mike Moustakas getting things going quick. He gets rid of it very fast. Uni with a quick turn to double up Ryan Braun. Tough play by Betancourt going across the bag there. Nice turn.
And now Holland in with a strike to Aramis Ramirez, who has a 2-hit game. Drove in a run back in the 3rd inning. That tied the game at 1. The Royals haven't scored since the 1st. So Milwaukee tied it in the 3rd. A run to go ahead in the 7th. And an add-on run in the 9th. Another close game for the Royals. Their last 6 games have been decided by 2 runs or less. 1-2 on Ramirez. Got it with a fastball at 95. The Brewers add a run in the 9th. The Royals down by 2, but they have Butler, Hosmer, and Francoeur in the 9th. Hosmer and Jeff Francoeur coming up. As promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And our Fox Sports Kansas City viewers are Miller time. And we thank you for participating in our Royals Charities broadcast auction. Those are the totals right now, all going to Royals Charities. What do you think? You think we can muster up a rally in the ninth for the Royals and for the day with a Royals broadcaster?
Be nice to see a 5 in front of that, Ryan.
Man, don't forget, folks, that includes 4 Bats Crown Seat tickets. Here's John Axford, the Brewers closer, coming on in the ninth. Coming off a very shaky last appearance. That was on Sunday. Throws a strike to Billy Butler. Axford coming in one of those games that you dreaded, Monty, the non-save situation. He had a 4-run lead. He threw 37 pitches, only got 1 out, and then he had to be removed for the Brewers' regular setup man, or one of their regular setup men, Jose Veras, and he is the one that closed it out.
Well, Axford is the guy who took over filled the shoes for former Brewers closer and legend Trevor Hoffman. So he's following a true legend in Milwaukee as far as closers are concerned. The Brewers are 25-0 if they lead after 8 innings, and Axford is a big reason why.
Billy drove in the Royals' run back in the first inning. That was with a ground out. And now ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike.
See Axford's fastball. That's his pitch. He's a mid to upper 90s fastball. He throws a curveball and an occasional slider too, but the fastball is his pitch. And he's got an unusual story. He was actually not drafted, but signed by the Yankees, so really a free agent signee.
Masonette, who's had a good game at the plate and in the field, takes care of Billy Butler. 1 away. The Brewers have turned 3 double plays tonight. The Royals just turned a double play in the ninth, and that's our Home Depot doing more on defense.
Greg Holland getting a ground ball down to the Moose, Mike Moustakas, and Unieski Betancourt with a very nice turnover at second base going across the bag. Eric Hosmer finishing it off.
Ball 1 to Eric Hosmer, singled back in the first inning. Lost a hit on a great play by Masonette at short. That was in the third, and then he lined to right in the 6th. 2 balls and no strikes. Yeah, Axford, very interesting route to the big leagues. And drafted by the Mariners, didn't sign. Drafted by the Red Sox, didn't sign. Then he played independent ball. And then, as you pointed out, he actually got into professional baseball as an undrafted player. That was with the Yankees, released, signing with the Milwaukee Brewers as a free agent in 2008. And then 2 years later, he's replacing Trevor Hoffman, who at the time had the most saves in Major League history. Hosmer walks with 1 out, so that brings a tying run to the plate. Last year, John Axford had 46 saves in his first full season as a closer. That's a Brewers record. Miles an hour, but high. Ball 1. And now Corey Hart jogging over from first base, trying to calm Axford down, give him a little pat on the back. And Rick Kranitz now, the Brewers pitching coach, is going to take a trip to the hill.
Oftentimes those visits to the mound are nothing more than just let's step back, take it easy here, get your breath. Don't try to overthrow. Let's just let the hitter get themselves out. Don't try to do too much.
There's a lot of adrenaline. There's a lot of emotion, obviously, in a situation like this, but you can't let that get the best of you.
Well, and as a closer especially, oftentimes if you get too amped up, you get out of your game.
It's 1-1.
Royals fans so used to seeing Joakim Soria out there, and it's one of the most calm guys in the game. When he was right, he was so calm out there. You wouldn't know if they were winning by 3 runs or losing by 3 runs, but he just had that way of slowing things down.
Francoeur down, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Humberto Quintero was the only Royal who'd ever faced Axford before tonight. He's out. He was replaced by a pinch runner in the 8th inning, so everybody's seeing Axford for the first time. Butler grounded to short. Hosmer walked. And now Hosmer runs as Francoeur hits it to center field. Gomez is backing up. Hosmer goes back to first base. There are 2 outs.
Royals down to their last out here in the 9th inning. It's going to be up to Mike Moustakas to keep this thing alive.
The Brewers bullpen has not been very good when you look at the whole group. They have the 2nd highest earned run average in the National League. And the bullpen lost the game last night. Hosmer runs again, and Moustakas takes ball 1. That is not a stolen base. Defensive indifference allowing Hosmer to go to second. Moustakas walked in the 7th. He is 0 for 2. One and one. Blocked by Maldonado. That keeps Hosmer at second base. 2 balls, 1 strike.
There we saw the curveball that he will feature, and more than likely against left-handers, that's a pitch he'll oftentimes use to try to put them away.
Hey, you look up at the scoreboard right now and you see 1 run, 7 hits, and only 4 left on base, and you would think that the Royals really haven't had many chances tonight. And actually they have. The Brewers have those 3 double plays. Now it's 3-1 on Moustakas. And if there are some innings that the Royals are kicking themselves about right now, the 3rd inning, Quintero had a leadoff double. That did not turn into a run. In the 7th inning against Randy Wolf in what proved to be his final inning. So maybe trying to get to him as the lights started to flicker. He walked Moustakas to begin the inning. That did not turn into a run. And then Quintero led off the 8th inning with a base hit. And that did not turn into a run. In this inning, Axford has walked 2. So this sets everything up for Alcides Escobar, who came up in the Brewers system. He was their everyday shortstop in 2010. Traded to the Royals. And now a chance to burn his former team with the Royals down by 2. Hosmer at second base. Moustakas, the tying run, is at first. A little bit outside, ball 1.
Right, if Alcides Escobar is able to keep this inning alive, it looks like Clint Robinson may be having an opportunity to do some damage himself.
And if he does, that would mean 2 of his 3 major league at-bats have been in the 9th inning against a closer. 2-0.
Welcome to the big leagues. Axford's thrown 20 pitches and 14 of them are balls. One more here, and Alcides Escobar will have a chance to maybe run the count, have another walk.
And might be the best pitch he's thrown all inning. 98 miles an hour over the outside corner.
Looks like Foxtrax maybe doesn't agree with home plate umpire Del Scott, but he got the call anyway.
Drilled to left center field. Long run for Braun. He won't get it. The Royals are going to tie the game. Escobar is going to try for third, and he's in there.
Alcides Escobar coming up big here in the clutch tonight. 2 outs, 2 on. Potentially the last batter of the game. Drives the ball in the gap. Great to see for Alcides Escobar. 2 runs across for the Royals.
Alcides Escobar hit .235 in his last season with the Brewers. Now hitting .290 for the Royals, and here's Clint Robinson, and a breaking ball is in for a strike. So the Royals scored 1 in the first, and now 2 with 2 outs in the 9th. .0-2 on Clint Robinson.
If Clint Robinson is able to deliver here, I believe it will be the Royals' first walk-off victory. It will be the first time the Brewers have lost a game all season if winning going into the 9th inning.
Axford has 4 wild pitches. And Robinson strikes out to put an end to the inning. But Axford walks 2. And Alcides Escobar, the former Brewer, makes Axford pay for it. A 2-out, 2-run triple. We're tied at 3. Jack Links all summer long. 2 exciting games on this brief 3-game homestand. Mitch Meyer will take over in center field as we go to the 10th. The Royals breaking a 1-1 tie in the 8th inning last night on Billy Butler's base hit, winning 2-1. And now tonight, down 3-1 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and it's the former Brewer Alcides Escobar with a 2-run triple to tie it. And a good start for Greg Holland, who got all 3 outs in the 9th inning as he gets Corey Hart on a ground ball to third. And there is 1 away in the 10th.
Ryan kind of felt good about this when we're going to be matching up the bullpens. Really never felt like it was going to work out this way with the Royals running it into extra innings by having a chance to get to John Axford in the bottom of the 9th. But here we are. I still like our chances.
And that's got to feel so good for Escobar. I mean, to get a hit as it is in the 9th inning to tie the game at home, but traded away by the Brewers. And part of it had to do with what he did at the plate. I mean, they loved what he did with the glove, but he was a .235 hitter 2 years ago. And in the month of September, he had 153. And there were times when the National League was just knocking the bat out of his hands. And he hit .254 for the Royals last year. He's hitting .290 now, and just came up with one of the biggest hits of the year. Ricky Weeks drills it into center field for a 1-out single. He is 1 for 4.
And it was about this time last year when Alcides Escobar really started turning the corner. He changed his approach, started going the other way a lot more. I remember we saw him. It was on Father's Day in St. Louis. He had quite a game in that series against the Cardinals.
Had a game-tying home run in the 9th inning, I believe. One on, one out, Cody Ransom playing at third base for Milwaukee tonight. Takes ball 1 from Greg Holland. One and one.
And speaking of Escobar, last year we had a lot of situations early in the year. He came up in big situations. Ned Yost kept letting him get his at-bats. He wasn't successful. And tonight when I saw Clint Robinson come out of the dugout, I'm thinking, well, maybe he's going to allow him to bat, maybe try to drive one out of the ballpark. But sure enough, Escobar gets his at-bat, hits a triple, 2 runs.
One and two. That was a topic that came up quite a bit last year, why Ned Yost would leave Alcides Escobar in there. And as you pointed out, it was about this time last year when the approach started adding points to his batting average, but he was around 200, if not a little under 200 for the first couple of months of the season. And Ned just kept running him out there, hoping that he would learn something from the experience. And because of his bat, we are playing into the 10th inning. 2 down. Holland strikes out his second.
Greg Holland with that nice tilt on the slider going down against Ransom. Swings over top of it. We see that so frequently from Greg Holland on the mound. He looks great.
And now Martin Maldonado will bat. And this is his first at-bat coming on in the 8th inning. .216 with 3 home runs, but 2 of those 3 home runs have been big ones for the Brewers. They've been 2 out, 3-run home runs with the Brewers behind and then putting them in front. This is a player who's trying to shake the label of being a good defensive catcher, but not doing much at the plate. Started the game last night and was 0 for 3 and then lifted for a pinch hitter in the 9th. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the topic of home runs, the Royals have allowed the fewest in the American League this year. And that's come in handy in this series because a big part of the Brewers offense has been home runs. They're near the bottom in batting average. They're in the middle of the pack in the National League in runs scored, but third in the league in home runs. That's drilled to right center field. Weeks will make the turn. So Maldonado does not drive in a run, but he comes up with a big hit late to keep the Brewers' chances alive in the 10th. First and third, 2 outs.
Well, he did a nice job. Just stayed back, just served it into right center field. Like you mentioned, he's not known for his bat, but he's really been a pleasant surprise for the Milwaukee Brewers with his bat early on.
Ryan Pena going through defensive signals just in case the Brewers try a double steal here. Brian letting everybody know where his throw will go if Maldonado takes off for second. Good fastball is thrown by Edwin Masonette. 2 hits, 2 runs scored for Masonette. And a standout game in the field at shortstop. Brewers have 3 runs on 13 hits. They have left 10 on base. The Royals are trying to make that 12. 1-1.
This is only Masonette's 7th start of the year at shortstop tonight, so he's certainly made the most of his opportunity.
Because the game continues, you can continue to bid on our Royals Charities broadcast auction. 816-504-4040. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Masonette. Pena and Holland want to make sure they're on the same page. The Brewers left 1 on in the second. They stranded 3 in the third. 2 runners left on base in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. And now runners at first and third with 2 down in the 10th. Ricky Weeks singled with 1 out. Martin Maldonado singled with 2 outs.
Greg Highland last night worked out of a touchy situation in the 8th inning. Looking around a hit and a walk to get out of the inning. So similar situation here tonight.
Laid off the pitch outside, 2-2. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Manny Parra getting ready for the bottom of the 10th inning. The Royals have Brian Pena, Alex Gordon, Unievsky Betancourt due up. Royals with 2 on, 2 out, and the bottom of the 9th got a 2-run triple from Alcides Escobar. Masonette strikes out. The Brewers have left 12 on base. So to the bottom of the 10th. Pena, Alex Gordon, who homered last night, and Unievsky Betancourt. bidding is still open for the Royals Charities broadcast auction. Call 816-504-4040. Option 1 for a donation on one of the many experiences packages, and option number 2 for the ticket packages. Royals got 2 with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th to tie it. Now they will face Manny Parra in the bottom of the 10th. Brian Pena, Alex Gordon, and Unievsky Betancourt.
Well, Manny Parra is normally more of a middle relief guy, but in the extra inning situation tonight, he's going to come in. The lefty is a low to mid-90s fastball with a curveball and a split finger fastball.
Lucky to still be pitching. Manny Parra has had a long list of pretty severe injuries since becoming a professional. Drafted by the Brewers in 01. He had left shoulder surgery in 05. Broke his left thumb while he was bunting in 2007. He had surgery on the left shoulder again after the 2009 season. He had surgery on his left hip after the 2010 season. And now this year he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. Pena chops it to short. Masonette sets his feet and throws a strike over to Corey Hart, 1 away. So Alex with 1 out, doubled and scored in the first inning, and then lost an extra base hit on a running, leaping play in the left field corner by Ryan Braun in the 8th. And Parra's breaking ball is high, ball 1. Only 2 Royals have ever faced Manny Parra, Jeff Francoeur and Humberto Quintero. Royals haven't seen Milwaukee in a regular season game since 2007. That was in Milwaukee, and the Brewers haven't been here since 2006. Broken bat and an easy play for Masonette. 2 down. Well, we've seen one former Brewer come up with a big hit. Escobar tying the game in the 9th inning, and now here's another former Brewer, albeit 1 year, Unievsky Betancourt. And he is 0 for 4 so far tonight with 4 ground ball outs, one of them grounding into a double play. Breaking ball for strike 1. That hit home plate umpire Dale Scott.
We're going to go back to Saturday against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Unievsky Betancourt finds the bleachers. Nice stroke in the Monarchs uniform. Uni may be looking for a pitch hanging up tonight. We got the wind blowing out the left field. Get one up at that wind stream here in Kauffman Stadium. Maybe the same result.
Swinging at the wrong pitch, and now he's down 1-2. That's pretty good pitching there. Parra's first breaking ball just kind of spun one up there to get it over, and the next one he put it in an unhittable spot.
I would think if he throws another one, he's probably going to try to get Uni to chase in that same situation there.
Maldonado giving him a very low target, and he does strike him out. We will go to the 11th. Royals 3, Brewers 3. long. Royals scored first, getting a run in the bottom of the first inning, and then didn't score again until the 9th inning. In between, the Brewers got a single run in the 3rd, one in the 7th, one in the 9th. And with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, Alcides Escobar at the plate with 2 on against John Axford. And Axford had walked 2 in the inning. He walked Hosmer and Moustakas, and Escobar turned those into runs with a triple. And now Tim Collins will take over in the 11th inning as the Brewers have the top of the order.
Tim Collins really doing a nice job this year, commanding the baseball. That was one of the things last year that was a knock on Tim Collins. He's really been solid this year.
"29 innings for Collins. He has only walked 9, and he has struck out 43. 1 ball, 1 strike against Nori Aoki.
Ned Joseph deciding to go with another lefty against Aoki. Even though he hits lefties better than righties.
And he has 2 more hits tonight against lefties. He got a base hit against Maharis in the 9th inning, which led to a run. He became the run, scoring on an error, and had a base hit back in the 3rd. That was against starter Jonathan Sanchez. Collins is the 6th Royals pitcher tonight. Hit on the ground to Hosmer. He'll take it himself, 1 away. And now Collins will get some right-hand batters. Carlos Gomez, Ryan Braun, and if anybody gets on, Aramis Ramirez. So Sanchez went 5 in his first start. Coming back from the disabled list, he gave up 1 run, 7 hits. Kelvin Herrera allowed a run in 2 innings. Aaron Crow pitched a 1/3 of an inning. Jose Maharis pitched 2/3 of an inning. He allowed a run. And Greg Holland just went 2 scoreless. Gomez 1 for 4, a single, a sacrifice, and he has struck out 3 times. That came up and got Brian Pena.
Looks like Brian Pena may have gotten a little cup check there. Brian Pena coming in for Humberto Quintero in the 9th, so I guess Mitch Meyer would be the next catcher. Have to do something creative to get a center fielder out there.
Three and 0. Well, the bench is empty.
We'd probably have to lose the designated hitter in emergency.
You're probably looking at Mitch Meyer going to catch, Billy Butler going to first, Eric Hosmer to right, Jeff Francoeur to center.
Exactly.
You got to that.
But let's hope that doesn't happen.
Mitch Meyer drafted as a catcher out of the University of Toledo. The Royals then moved him to the infield where he played at 3rd base, then to the outfield where he started playing the corner positions and then played the bulk of the end of his minor league career where he is right now in center field. Not many guys start their career as a catcher and end up in center field. Mitch, an outstanding athlete in high school and in college. Very good football and baseball player in high school. Ryan Braun has 2 hits. And in the 7th inning, his single with 2 outs, but the Brewers in front 2-1. They got another run in the 9th. An unearned run on a throwing error by Brian Pena. And then the Royals tied it in the bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. Alcides Escobar hit a 2-run triple. Right field corner, a long run for Francoeur, but he will catch up to it. Gomez hustles back to first and goes in sliding as the throw goes to second.
He got about halfway to second, and he got the memo in Jeff Francoeur's arm.
Ron Gardenhire, I thought, had the greatest line about Carlos Gomez. He had, as we said, great tools with the Minnesota Twins, but just always seemed a player that was a bit out of control. And in talking about his speed and his defense and his arm, Ron Gardenhire said, Carlos Gomez, he can steal second base. He can steal third base. He can throw a runner out at the plate from the outfield. He can also throw it in the dugout from the outfield.
Sometimes you have to be careful what you do with those tools.
Good off speed. Ramirez is out in front. And now Collins out in front of the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Ramirez drove in the Brewers' first run back in the 3rd inning with an infield single. Gomez at first with 2 outs, and the Brewers have already left 12 runners on base. Got him to chase a pitch down and in and way out of the strike zone. So a scoreless 11th for Tim Collins. In the bottom of the 11th, Billy Butler, Eric Hosmer, and Jeff Francoeur. Leading off for the Royals, trying to get something started. Last night he finished off the inning in the bottom of the 8th, put the Royals in front for a 2-1 victory.
Nice piece of clutch hitting, just needed a fly ball, but instead gets a line drive base hit to center field to drive in Alex.
Cameron Lowe will become the Brewers' 5th pitcher. 6'8", Cameron Lowe. He comes on for the 25th time. 2 wins, 1 loss, 2.67 ERA. He has allowed 3 home runs in 27 innings.
And he is a true sinker baller. He'll drop down a little bit, uses the sinker. He's also got a slider that he'll throw in a curveball. But his bread and butter pitch will be the sinker.
And there's the sinker, but it dips low, ball one. Cameron Lowe first got to the big leagues in 2004 with the Texas Rangers. He was their 2004 minor league pitcher of the year. Belted into the left field corner, but foul. And that's what happens when a sinker stays up.
The rising sinker out over the plate. Ball inside just enough that Billy couldn't keep it fair. You see there, about 15 feet foul maybe.
Just past Ricky Weeks and into center field. And remember, the Royals do not have the option here to pinch run for Billy Butler. So he'll stay on. And for Billy, that's his second hit, third time he's been on base.
Goes with the breaking ball, stays up in the middle of the plate. Billy did exactly what he did last night to drive in Alex Gordon with the go-ahead run. Nice little line drive to center.
A little bit outside. Ball one to Eric Hosmer. Singled in the first inning. Walked and scored in the ninth. Both he and Mike Moustakas walked against John Axford. And then with two outs, Alcides Escobar tripled to left center field, bringing them both in to tie the game. Two and 0. We have said so many times all year that the Royals need that big hit. And while the offense has fallen a bit short of the preseason expectations, the difference one hit can make. You score a run in the first inning, and then the offense dries up for the next 7 innings. You get 2 walks, you get 2 men on base without a base hit, but one big hit, one swing of the bat. And it comes from Alcides Escobar to tie the game. And now all of a sudden the Royals are feeling pretty good about what they did on offense tonight. 3 runs, 9 hits. Hosmer taking all the way in. It's 3-1. In the early part of the season, the Royals were getting plenty of hits, but they weren't getting the hits that drive in runs.
And we saw that especially at home. The Royals now are 9-20 at home, looking to get their only 10th win of the year at home here. But a few hits early in the season, it would have been a different story.
Frightening swing. Eric Hosmer, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Eric Hosmer coming out of his shoes on this pitch against Cameron Lowe. 2 strikes here, maybe shorten up a little bit.
And he fouled it off of his foot. Goes hobbling out of the batter's box.
Never having hit in the big leagues, I can't tell you exactly what that feels like, Brian, but I'm sure it's not good.
It's painful, and you feel a bit ashamed because you've done it to yourself. It's self-inflicted pain. You've got nobody to blame but yourself.
Well, sinker ballers have a tendency to get hitters that hit a lot of balls off their own feet or shin.
Hosmer will walk, and the Royals have 2 on with nobody out. So a single and a walk, 2 on for Jeff Francoeur, who who has never faced Cameron Lowe.
Right, this is probably not a situation that Cameron Lowe is in frequently in games, as he's normally used more of a middle relief guy, just like Manny Parra, who we'd seen in the last inning. But we'll see what he's able to do here in a tough situation. 2 on, nobody out.
And that's the pitch that he wants Francoeur to go after, hoping to turn the inning around with a ground ball and a double play. And the Brewers have turned 3 double plays already tonight. No matter what happens here in the 11th, the Royals Charities broadcast auction will be closed after this 11th inning. So here's your last chance to bid on some of the packages, the Royals experiences at Kauffman Stadium at 816-504-4040. 1-1 to Francoeur. Before tonight, the Royals had scored 26 runs in their previous 10 games. So that's easy math, 2.6 runs per game. So this would qualify as a big night, 3 runs. Got a pitch up, base hit left field. Billy Butler will be held, and the Royals have the bases loaded, nobody out. That's outstanding pitch selection by Jeff Francoeur.
It really was. He waited till he got a pitch that he could handle. Cameron Lowe, the sinker baller, normally down in the strike zone, but Jeff Francoeur was able to get a pitch up, able to pull it to left field this time. Right in his sweet spot. Nobody out. Billy Butler on third. He's already been thrown out of home 1 time tonight. I was a little afraid he went a little too far past the base there, but no throw behind him.
Ron Renneke is pointing as he comes out of the dugout, and he's pointing at a couple of people. He is pointing to the bullpen. He's going to make a pitching change, and it appears he's also pointing to Ryan Braun to come in from left field. So the Brewers might have a 5-man infield when we come back. Bases loaded with nobody out in the 11th inning. Billy Butler standing at third. He singled. Eric Hosmer at second base. He walked. And Jeff Francoeur at first. He singled. All of that against Cameron Lowe.
And here's Jeff Francoeur doing a nice job waiting on a pitch. He can drive. He does it. Again, nobody out here. Billy goes a little past the bag. Doesn't want to see this happen again, especially with nobody out. Case here for Mike Moustakis to maybe drive him in.
So there you go. There's the 5-man infield. Ryan Braun is now at third base, and that's the position that he played coming up to the minor leagues. He moved to the outfield in 2008. So Cody Ransom, who was at third, now in the shortstop position, and there are 3 infielders on the right side as Veras missed high, and that's not what he wants to do. He needs to trying for a pitch down and getting a ground ball.
Surprised we didn't see Veras earlier. He's the other setup man that Ron Renicky uses along with Francisco Rodriguez, but control has been an issue with him throughout his career, so maybe that's why he doesn't want to take a chance, but here he is in a bases-loaded situation.
2 balls and no strikes on Moustakis. If he gets anything in the air, it would have to take extreme good fortune for the Brewers to get an out, because they have the outfield in, which is a 2-man outfield, in a very big outfield at Kauffman Stadium. Aoki shallow in straightaway right, and Gomez shallow in left center. Two and one.
See the good mid-90s fastball here from Veras. Surprised we saw 2 curveballs with bases loaded. No room to put Mike Moustakis. Got behind in the count with his breaking ball.
3 balls, 1 strike. Moustakis scored the tying run in the 9th on the Escobar triple, now trying to drive in the winning run in the 11th. Ball 4, and he will, without even taking the bat off of his shoulder. So the Royals literally walk off to victory. They get 2 hits, 2 walks, and while it's a very short homestand, the Royals have their first winning homestand.
Really good to see a walk-off victory.